trenches, relax.
Welcome to the Trenches Podcast.
Mic check, bro. You good? All three mics working?
ASMR.
No, I'm just kidding. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Trenches. I'm here with a very special guest, a good friend of mine, a colleague, a client turned friend, Mr. Matt Riley, a.k.a. Mr. Windy City Agent, bro. What's going on?
Oh,
you see that plug?
there you go. We're going to do that a few times during this whole entire thing.
Yeah,
Like
of course, bro. It's going to be link in the description, all that, but we'll keep bringing it
bio.
up in case you guys forget. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm
Yeah?
good. I like this setup that you got
Oh,
here.
it's beautiful. It's just, something.
I thought I was
simple.
big shot until I walked in, and now.
I mean, it's different because, like, we have a room, like, your place is probably the whole floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like 65 floors above this, but it's nice that you're trying.
I mean, it's like a closet to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever catch myself living here,
Yeah.
but I'm glad. I'm happy for you, though.
Bro, I mean,
That's
it's
all I
funny
can
because we're
say.
walking in. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that was out loud?
yeah, I heard
do
you.
that late. Yeah,
I was
I've
just
been
like,
doing that.
maybe he's, maybe he saw something gross, like a.
I've been doing that lately. I gotta keep that back inside.
I think so.
I've been letting
Yeah.
that out too much.
For
Yeah,
sure.
like I said, this is good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody, not just me.
Yeah, I want this to end really quickly so I can get out.
Yeah, I know, because
it's
the second the sun goes down, I know it's a little
It's
scary for you
dangerous.
out
It's
here, bro.
dangerous.
Hey, bro, we're in the trenches,
I'm
bro.
a skinny little white boy. You
Bro,
got
but you're
me-
tall though. I think that's the part.
Yeah, I'm
that you got.
deceiving sometimes,
Yeah.
depending on like how the light hits me,
Sure.
or like how many. I got a big puffy jacket, so
Yeah.
like I can be deceiving.
I got and the height and stuff. You know what I mean? And you kind of walk around like.
But I was telling you on the way here, I was getting bullied by a couple 15-year-olds.
That's right. That's right. How talk to me about that, bro? Because I know 15-year-olds are kind of scary nowadays.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like back in the day, maybe not so much. But there's actually a school right on the. It's a funny story. So yeah, on the way here, there was like 3 of them. And
Wait, three 15-year-olds?
yeah,
Oh,
maybe-
gotcha.
I would say average age was probably 15.
Mhm.
I'd say lowest was probably 13.
Sure.
I could just tell by the haircuts and just they were
Yeah.
talking. They were trying to bully me, like intimidate me on my own sidewalk.
I got
But
it.
there's a school over here, and I was walking with my buddy the one time. He used to live right here on 9th,
Mm-hmm.
and school. It was really funny because we were walking through, and school just so happened to be letting out. So there was like 100 kids that came out, and bro, I don't know if it's like because I'm older now, or what, but like they all came out and they were all around me, and I had a backpack on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this, I was like, what if they just start bullying me out of nowhere?
Like a little anxiety.
Yeah, I got super bad.
Yeah.
My boy is like 6'6", like
Uh-huh.
and he started laughing too because he said it to me first. He's like, yo, what if they just started grabbing you by your backpack and just throwing
Swinging
you
you.
around? And he's like, I wouldn't do anything. And he's like, what would you even do? And I was like, nothing. I would just shed the backpack and go.
Just run. I'm
What am
outta
I do?
here.
Beat up a bunch of 100 13-year-olds
Bro, but how many
nervous.
15-year-olds do you think you can take?
at once?
Yeah.
I feel like I've had this, yeah.
I mean, you've had to think about it living here. And
I
being-
saw this on another thing, and they started getting into it where it's like, I feel like once the group sees me punch the first one,
They'll walk away.
they're
Run
either
away?
scared or so it's either I annihilate the first one and then the rest run away,
Yeah.
or that
Best case
infuriates them. Yeah, best
For
case
sure.
is I got to annihilate the first one.
Yeah.
Worst case is I'm on World Star at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
just getting stomped out by like 6. I would say 15-year-olds I could probably take like 50. No, I don't know. They make big 15-year-olds now.
There's some. Yeah. Diego, how many 15-year-olds do you think you can take, bro?
Dude,
Just
right?
one?
Just do one.
Like, I could take a 1985 15-year-old. I could take 15 of those.
But see, the thing
But a
is, I think
2021
I think they're getting
15-year-old?
smaller though. Like they're getting smaller and skinnier.
I haven't
bro.
grown in like 10
Bro,
years.
but you're like 60 years old. Like I think
Yeah,
you stopped
well,
growing after.
next 2 years from now, yeah.
Yeah. For real?
Senior 60? Well,
Damn, bro. Yeah, bro. At least the good thing is you're gonna start
I've been
getting discounts at Denny's,
I've
bro.
been 31 for like 6 years.
I got
it's
you.
been nice, yeah. It's a good thing they don't check the ID at the door.
Yeah.
Otherwise- Yeah, dude, like a 1985 15-year-old. I could take
I don't know, bro.
a whole bunch of those.
I think I can take 2.
You?
Yeah, 2 15-year-olds.
You at least have like, they would look at you and be nervous.
I hope so.
They look at me.
Because I
and-
can't fight.
Yeah, but at least like you could at least
I'm just playing,
intimidate
I can
them.
fight.
You got like a talk, like you can intimidate
Yeah.
them. They look at me and they don't.
They're like,
Yeah,
Look at this victim.
Dude,
walking
one
by.
time I had one say something to me. It was like during Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
I was walking out from the Opera House where I used to work at lunchtime, and he walked out and they like bumped in, and they all had like their jerseys on,
Sure.
the Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the jersey and the shorts on. And there was like 15 of them, and I was walking out at the same time, and they bumped into me, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And he's like, "What are you, 40?" He's like, "Get out of my way." And I was like, dude, there wasn't even an ounce of intimidation in that kid at all. He bumped into me, and I was like, yo, what's up? And he's like, dude, what are you, 40? Get out of the way. And I was like, oh, my God. And I was like, all right, sorry, sir. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Like,
what am I going to do?
Yeah, because then he's...
And what happens to me if I fight that kid, even if I win?
Yeah, but he was
win.
squared up. I think you're more likely to get jumped at like a Lala. You know what I mean?
Easy.
You know what I mean? Because they're
Mob
all
mentality,
like
bro.
coming off of drugs and a
They've
good
been
time.
on Molly for 3 straight days, and God knows what else. Yeah, bro, they're invincible at that point.
Bro, that's so funny. I
I don't
remember.
want to end up on someone's Snapchat getting just
just
give
beating
me
up this 40-year-old.
Give me an undie grundy like in front of no.
Bro, that's funny, man. Lollapalooza down here gets kind of wild. They
Yeah.
shut down all of this shit. Bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say because being over here, because I'm right by Soldier Field, but like just far enough away, so when there's games and stuff going on, it gets crowded, but I'm far enough away where it doesn't really. But Lollapalooza, I remember I was walking back from the Opera House, and it's from here. It's a little over a mile, so you walk and it usually takes about 30 minutes. I remember walking back the one time, and Lollapalooza just so was getting. It was like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I was just walking against the wave of people. Dude, there are 100,000 people. Just
It's a lot of people, man.
you can't go anywhere, and they're
And
just like pissing and shitting in the street.
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like
It's gross.
every pizza
And it's
spot.
hot as a motherfucker, bro.
Oh,
Like,
dude. I used to build it when I was a stagehand. We would build.
Overall?
We do when it's up and running. But
Yeah.
every year it never fails. If we start the first day of Lala, 8 a.m. is the start. From 7 to 7:30, it just pours. Never. So it's just muddy all the time. Every
Yeah,
time you
yeah.
go to Lala, so like these kids are
forgot
just
about
like
that.
in the mud, and it's probably not even really mud. It's just like God knows what. It's just like disgusting.
Ugh, yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm too like. I don't know, man. Just give me like a VIP section or something. Like,
dude, that's the thing. Like, the first and the only time that I've ever been was with Lawrence in the shop cutting backstage, and I remember like we'd go.
you guys did do that.
Yeah, we'd go out. For example, we want to go see Lil Baby. We'd all go, for that time and then go back, and it's just like, we're coming out the back. Not even like there's like a whole little hallway that brings you to everywhere else, and it's just like, bro, imagine walking in this fucking hot ass sun, bro, with all these people and like sweating, and it's just I'm like, this is fucking gross. Like, I want to be in the back. Do they have AC in the back?
Dude.
Like,
Why wouldn't you want to be back here?
Dude, the bathrooms have AC. The bathrooms have AC too.
They got
bro.
nice like trailer bathrooms.
100%. I'm like,
yeah. Have you ever seen a Lollapalooza porta potty?
No.
Oh.
Bro, don't play me. I just said I've been
God.
VIP, bro.
I'm like people have their.
Dude, you know somebody died in one like 2 years ago? This
just
fucking
from
15-year-old kid, bro.
Just from like walking
Probably
in, probably.
had to take a shit and just
They didn't
pass
even
out.
like get locked in there. They just like, dude, they're. A lot of people have speculations of like where coronavirus started and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's some like maybe in a Lollapalooza porta potty.
I think so. I think that, yeah, except in like, yeah, no, you might be right.
Yeah, you were about to say.
I was like, oh, chill out.
Don't go there. That's why I said speculation.
Yeah, I got you.
You gotta watch
Allegedly.
it. 100%. Watch your words.
Bro, absolutely. So, Matt, bro, you started off, and it's so funny, bro. I started cutting your hair at the shop down the street, and immediately it was like, yo, this guy's cool. You know what I mean? Really
Shout
cool.
out my new barber Vince too.
Man,
He's
What's
number
up,
one.
Vince?
Yeah, shout out.
I put you on, Vince. You're welcome. No, I was kidding. I was like, I mean, if you're gonna go to anybody, I guess go to Vince. Like he's all right. Nah, just kidding.
Do you know who that guy was that cut my hair originally?
Who?
I'm not. Even if I knew his name, I wouldn't say his name. But he doesn't work there anymore. And I got 2 cuts. I think it was 2 from him.
He was to the left of me.
Yeah, if you were facing the front door, he'd be to your left.
I know who that is.
Yeah.
No longer works there.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many details I want to even give, but he had like a weird
Skinny.
We can beep
Okay, I was
we
gonna
can
say,
beep anything out.
Beep.
weird back thing, like where he would crack his back all the. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I think he's.
Beep.
No.
Beep.
So long now, dude. Every time he'd be cutting my hair, and every 10 or so minutes, he'd be like, "Hold on 1 second," and he'd have to put everything down, and he would like do this weird, or no, he would bend forward, and his whole back would crack, and he'd go, "Oh, that feel," and he was kind of like an awkward guy. He.
Beep. No. Like his. No, like his tone of voice.
We are 8 minutes into this right now. God
No,
damn.
no, we're keeping that shit.
I'm
bro.
gonna have to work for you after this. I feel like that is.
No, like, did he
100%
have? How do you say that, bro? You know what I mean,
tendencies, like a lisp or something?
though. The tone of voice, the tonality.
Yeah.
I think. Beep.
He didn't work there long, I don't think, because when I first I just used the app and I signed up with him.
Hold on.
And
So
then
if you're sitting in my chair, like I'm sitting in my chair, it's this person.
if I'm sitting in your chair facing the mirror, he's to the right.
Yeah.
Beep.
Because it was Aaron.
Our age, he wasn't like an older guy.
Cool.
This dude, like nothing bad. Like he's just a weird dude. But God bless him. But like I went in there the first time, and like I said, I just saw him. Like I don't even know why I picked him off the app too. Like I think he had like a good picture. So I'm like, oh, he looks like he knows what he's doing. And I get there, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I got catfish like I got catfish like a motherfucker when I walked in. And I was like, no, that's not you. I was like, I'll wait. And he's like, no, that's me.
Yeah.
And then he fucked me up that first time.
Really?
Yeah, it was either the first time or the second time where, bro, it was bad. It like
Yeah, he was never really
short.
nice. I mean, we'll cut that part out too. No, I remember he come back
be a
one
lot
time
of
and I'm like, this
editing.
shit was trash, bro. No, I mean, because he's got a specific style. He started off as a stylist, like cutting longer women's hair. So like this was kind of like a transition.
This is probably the guy because I remember he was saying like, yeah, he had different, and he really prided himself. He said he was a great shaver too.
Yeah, that's exactly him.
Said he was
bro.
a great shaver for whatever reason. I don't know why he was, and I
mean, yeah.
I've
I
never
got
had a
shit,
beard
bro.
in my fucking life, so I was like, I don't care. Like, focus on this, bro.
Yeah.
And then I had to wait, and for some, I think I tried booking with another person, couldn't, so I went back to him, and he jacked me up again. And like, it's one of those cuts where like, as it's happening, you're just staring in the mirror, and you're just like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, and he's just talking. I was like, dude, get me the fuck out. Like, it was almost like, do I bail now mid-cut
and try to
save whatever's left, or just let him do it?
That's got to be such a shitty feeling, bro. Because
Oh,
you and I, Digga, we don't go through that.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Crazy. It's crazy just describing that because you never get to hear like that side.
Now
of
I'm wondering if people are in my chair thinking like, yo, Chuy's fucking me up. I know. Like,
Well, and I like, I've gotten, dude, that's why, like, I think guys have it, like, girls, they have so many things that they, they do the shopping, the nails, and they have other, so I'm sure that they get anxiety over shit too, but, like, guys don't have anything that really, like, it's maybe some clothes that they like, whatever, but, like, we get haircuts, and we like cars maybe, something like that, but, like, we're very simple in terms of, so, like, I hold haircuts to, like, that's all I got.
yeah, it's a high standard.
So, like, I've gotten some fucked up cuts before where it's just, like, and it sucks now, like, in the age of social media, because, like, Facebook memory will pop up, and it'll just be me with
Beep.
like, that was just shit, dude. And it's just, like, when, like, you have something important to do, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go get a cut before I do that. And so now there's pictures of you at that thing with this horrible, bro. I got one that has been popping up for 7 years.
Really?
And I still remember, like, yeah, it's just like that. Just I'm crying on the inside as she's like, yeah, do you want me to do? Should I finish off? And I'm like, yeah, go do whatever you want to do.
Well just keep
Why
going.
are you asking me? Because you're just doing what you want to do anyway. So why just finish? And so like having a good barber. That's why I remember when you first moved.
Yeah.
I was just messaging you like hateful things.
Yo, I might attach
Hateful.
that because I remember I showed it to my wife and she's like, why is he being so mean? And I'm just like, no, he's playing. But then I'm like, I really don't think he's playing. I think,
No,
bro. He
real.
told me like he hopes I'm walking through the airport and then like,
with a wheel on your,
and then a wheel of my luggage falls and I have to
you
carry
miss
it
your
and I look
flight.
stupid.
Yeah.
He's like,
I was hoping like there was embarrassment. I wanted you to look
Yeah.
stupid a lot. Yeah, I was upset.
Yeah.
Because like I finally, it took me a while, like I said, to find. I was going to another barber shop. Where was I going? I was going to Floyd's, and
That's not a barbershop.
yeah, and it's more just like I agree. And it's they just you could never get the same person. Like they just was. And so I got some bad cuts there and some good ones, and it was kind of whatever. And then so I finally went there, got fucked up by whatever his name is, bad. And then he quit. Like I don't know, if, like so I couldn't even like yell at him when I came back. So and then I got you, and then that was like a year and a half or however long.
yes,
and
sir,
then,
ski.
And then like he's just like while he's cutting me for like he knew he was leaving. And so, like, we'd be talking about it during the cut, and I'm, like, trying to, like, be supportive. I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then all of a
Just
sudden,
do
I'm
it,
like, go
dude. He's like, I'm
fuck
fucking
yourself,
happy.
bro.
He's like, I'm so happy for you.
Fuck yourself.
Bro, the last
I hope
cut-
it doesn't work out. I really do.
But the last cut, he's like, I was just like, hey, bro, I appreciate you. He's like, didn't even give me a hug, nothing, bro. Didn't even tip me. It's cheap fuck.
Dude,
You know what's funny? I think I remember that because you were like at the door talking shit to him. And you were
I was
saying all
like,
kind of
thanks,
crazy
buddy.
shit.
I thought,
you know what's fucked up, too, is because he was telling me way ahead of time before. He's like, yo, and it's, because it was still in the work. So he's like, I haven't really told, like, who needed to know about it yet. He's like, I got to figure it out. And so I was just like, yo, I should just tell. I'll just tell. I'll be a tattletale. Oh, yeah. Like, if there's ever a way for this not to happen, I'll just be a tattletale and just walk out and just be like, "Oh, congratulations," and just expose you.
I'm just
in front
like,
of
all right,
everybody.
bro.
Yeah.
Did they give me a hug? Nothing. I'm
So
like,
I
damn,
did you
bro.
that favor of at least holding your secret
You did.
for that long.
You absolutely did. But it was cool, bro. And it was also funny because every time you'd come in, all we do was talk shit about our wives, bro.
Yeah.
It was such a good venting time where I was like, hell yeah, I'm glad Matt's coming because I got
It was
some
cheaper.
shit happened yesterday.
It was cheaper than therapy for sure.
Absolutely, bro.
100%.
You know, and it was like, and it was so funny because I don't think once I asked you what you do for work, because immediately it was more like the relationship was more of like a friend. You know what I mean? It wasn't like trying to. There
Yeah.
wasn't those certain like, you know, oh, what do you do for work? You know, blah blah, and then eventually starts to build. It was just immediate. I think at least it happened pretty quickly.
I think a lot of people like do what I like, whether they're a real estate agent or whatever, like they can't wait to tell people what they do because like they're trying to sell you on something. So like they go to a barbershop or whatever, they start talking like, oh, and you'd be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I do this. And I try to make it so if you ever like whatever, and like I just don't care. Like if you want to learn something from awesome, and if not, but I'm never trying to like promote services like whatever. So it's I appreciated like just being able to go in there and just shoot the shit and bullshit and laugh and bust balls the whole time because it's just like then I got to go back to being an agent, whatever, where you got to be like Mr. Suit and Tie, and you can't talk shit to anybody otherwise. And especially nowadays, man, everybody cries, and it's wild, bro.
Isn't that crazy?
Shit. I already know this is gonna be my last thing ever anyway. So like, I'm just
So let's talk about it.
I already know it's gonna be brutal.
It's funny he says that because I had a doctor that would come in there, and you know it's a doctor, right? You hold at a certain standard. He would always walk in there and he'd just be like talking shit, bro, the whole time.
Yeah.
And then like when the pandemic like hit, he was just like, bro, he's like, I'm fucking tired of people asking me if the fucking mask works. He's like, I studied this shit for 25 fucking years of my life.
He's got you bent over the table with his finger, like checking your prostate. He's like, God damn it! You're like, bro, can you relax for a second?
Hey, bro, take the finger out before you start yelling and shit.
No, it's true. Like, yeah, you would think certain people in certain business, whatever, you would like you just have this idea of like what that person is or what they should be.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they come in the room and they're F-bombing and they're saying
Absolutely.
this.
Bro,
But I think that helps. Like, I think that, you know, some people will hate it, but that'll also get people like, yo, I like that doctor. I'm going to go see that guy all the time.
No,
like, I
for
like
sure.
how he puts
You know
it
who's
down.
kind of like that too is like athletes.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I caught on pretty quickly. It was like, you know, I mean, I really don't follow sports. I do now a little bit, like more football, only because I don't want to be like, hey, how was the game last week? And they had a bye, and I look stupid and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? Like,
So, yeah, especially now that you're doing this.
yeah. So
you
it's
gotta
like,
be knowing a little bit more.
but it's what, you know what I was like, I don't want to talk like this dude doesn't want to talk about football. You know what I mean? And I remember I was really nervous the first time I ever cut. Shout out Matt Burton. I think he's with the Saints now. He came in and then
He's probably retired or something.
No, he's probably. I should check. We'll fact check that. But you know what?
Blew his knee
I'm
out
gonna go
last
back, but it's so funny, bro, because I remember when I was leaving, I was like, hey, bro, because he would just hook us up with tickets, and then I asked him like, hey, bro, you think I can get some tickets? He's like, bro, I got traded last week. I felt so stupid, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, what a piece of shit, Chuy. But anyways, that's not what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say was, you know, I was like, yo, so like, what do you like to do for fun? He's like, yeah, I like to go to the movies, and I was like, so surprised. You know, I'm just like, wait, you go to you just go to the movies and like buy popcorn and shit? He's like, yeah, I go to the mall. But like, cause in my mind, I'm just like, yo, this dude's football 24/7. But like, there's regular people, and I think he also enjoyed that I wasn't asking him like, oh, dude, you know, what do you think about this or like some shit that's happening in the NFL? You know what I mean? He's just a regular dude, and I think people appreciate that too.
100%.
Yeah, because he would come in and be like, yo, did you hear that new album? And it's just like, this is pretty fucking cool.
I mean, imagine like, I don't, you know, even like the lowest of the low professional athlete, like they still have a fan base of some sort.
Yeah.
It could be from people that knew them from their hometown or whatever. Like they have a fan base no matter what. And then like the superstars, and like, yeah, man, imagine like you're a superstar athlete and you live here and you're going down in your lobby and you're waiting for like an Uber or something, and there's just people all the time and they only care about one thing, and that's autographs, pictures. They want to, you know, whatever. So it's got to be something like to be able to have like some sort of circle around you that's just like, yo, I don't care that you scored 6 touchdowns. That's like, what's up with you and whatever the fact may be.
Yeah.
So it's got to be nice to be able to chop it up with people and not have to like have that like where you're on all the time talking about whatever.
How do you
just want to
deal
be able
with
to
that?
tell people shut the fuck up?
No, for
probably
sure.
A lot of times.
How do you deal with that, bro? Being a superstar agent out here, bro.
A South Loop celebrity.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
pretty much.
you just, I
pretty my
mean,
new tagline,
besides getting
probably.
bullied by 15-year-olds, like,
They might still be out there.
I don't think so, bro. The
How
snow's
long can
starting
we
to
make
come
this
down.
go? I gotta make sure that they're not out here when I leave. You guys are be kicking me out. Like, no, can I just stay for like a little bit? Hang out on the couch. Like, I'll watch you guys edit.
We're like about to go to sleep. Like, hey, bro, do you mind? Like,
can you be quiet out there? I'm like, yo, I'm looking out the window. I'm like, yo, just making sure everything's clear. This 9-inch snowstorm that's coming through. Like, I hope they're not out there. But yeah, man, so good.
Yeah, bro. So why I brought that up was because, what's it called? It wasn't until after I moved. I followed you on Instagram for the longest time, and you'd message me for haircuts. Yeah. And I noticed it, but I'm like, oh, maybe he just does this on the side. But I honestly never really paid too much attention to what was going on until after I left and I moved, and I was like, oh shit, Matt is like but you don't really like talk about it a lot in there. You're just doing showings and stuff.
I realized that about myself too.
Yeah. You're not like, oh, this is my 50th unit. This is my, you know what I mean? And I think that's really cool as like, because I know you personally. Yeah. And I was just like, oh shit. So I remember I started messaging you like a couple months, like 6 months ago. Yeah. And that's when you were like, well, no, I do this shit like big time. You know what I mean?
feel like it was just, like I said, it was always tough for me. Like I said, like when somebody, you get into that normal conversation of when you meet somebody or whatever, and you're just like, yo, what do you do? Obviously. And like, I don't know if it was like an embarrassment thing or like,
you think so?
Yeah, I don't know. But like, I realized that about myself because especially like, I think I had known it before you, but like especially when you reached out to me, you're like, oh, I didn't, and I was like, yeah, I guess I do that. Like especially like at the barbershop and other things, like, or if I'm in like some sort of social events, as soon as I hear people starting to go around, like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, ah, fuck, here it comes. Like and I don't know why I get like that, where I'm just like, oh, I got to tell this person this, and then they're like, oh, cool, real estate, like, and then I'm like, yeah, and I don't know if it's like I don't know, man. Like maybe it's from just like.
Do you not like the stigma of saying that you're in like you do real estate?
Because I was an investor first. I've been doing that for over 10 years, and then I became an agent. And so like I think I realized like this stigma of a real estate agent. Like I'd read like if somebody asked me what I do, I'll say real estate investor before I say real estate agent. Even though real estate agent is my job technically. Sure. I'll say investor first because like I get the stigma of real estate. Like, oh, you're just because once you say real estate agent, I feel like people are like, all right, yep, cool. Yeah, you sell. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to, that, or like, I'm not trying to sell. Like, don't leave me alone, type shit. Because they just, they get out there and they're all they want to do is slide you their business card and try to shit. And I'm just not like that, especially on the investment side. Like, that's just not. So I'll tell people I'm an investor first. But yeah, I realized that with you that I was like, maybe, like I said, I don't know if it's an embarrassment thing or what, but I was like, I should just, fuck it and just say whatever. And so, but yeah.
I kind of liked it, at least for me. Again, I just like it because it's like a normal, it's just like if you're like not trying to throw that in my face. And not that I would take it some type of way because that's what you do. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I guess it depends. I think for business, you kind of want to, like.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. Like you want people to know that you do it, and you want people. So when you're saying whatever, you're giving advice, whatever effect may be, you want them to not have to look you up and be like, yo, before this guy tells me whatever. Like, so you want them to know. So you want to be able to tell them, but at the same time, you don't want to come off braggy. You don't want to come off like, yo, look at this. Let me throw it in your. Oh, you don't have any property. You don't have. Oh, here, let me show you this. So it's like it's that double-edged sword, but like. I've always, I've had people reach out to me all the time, over and over again, like whether it's friends from back home or new people, whatever. And I always tell people, like, I've had people offer money for advice, whatever. And I'm like, I will never charge money for advice. Like, whatever you want to know, like, I'll carve out time at the end of the day, beginning, whatever the fact may be. But, like, I'll always give whatever I can give advice-wise because it's like, there's so many greedy people out here in terms of, like, I know so many people that started off as agents or investors or whatever the fact may be, and they either did it big in real life or they're just making it look like it on social media, and then they just immediately turn around and then start doing coaching and all that kind of shit. And they'll charge, like, these coaches are charging thousands of dollars, thousands,
I've seen that.
And it's brutal. And then so they don't even do the real estate shit anymore, and they don't even do the whatever anymore. They make more money on the coaching because of, you can really make yourself look a certain way on social media. Sure. And so these people that don't know anything, they fall for that. Like, so many people I know have spent thousands of dollars on this shit, and they have nothing. I just had a girl call me the other day. My attorney referred her to me. She called me, and she's like, I've been in the business now for a couple of years. Like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, I got a coach, but my coach isn't helping me. They're giving me 2 calls a month, and I was like, oh, like hour-long phone calls? And she's like, no, 20 minutes or less a piece. What? And I was like, yeah. I go, I've heard of that. And she's like, and she's just not helping me, whatever. And I was like, how much was it? Like a couple? And she's like, $5,000.
Jeez, bro.
I was like, And I was like, unfortunately, I go, that is not uncommon. Like, that's just what is taking place because... And these coaches, like I said, they make themselves look a certain way, or maybe they did have a good year where they can really promote that one year and say, I'm the best, and then they flip around. There's a million new people out there. There's only a handful of the top, just like in the real world. Like the 1% is very small, and the same with the business side too. Like that 1% is very small. So like all they have to do is have a good 6 months or whatever, and they can promote the fuck out of that and say, I'm the best.
Sure.
And here's my calendar link, $5,000 to get on the phone. And you're a new guy, so you have no idea.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at their social media posts.
Like, oh, I want to be like that, you know?
And everyone's got the dream of wanting to be like that. And so I tell people all the time, like, do whatever you want to do, obviously. Like, it's your money. And I'm not even discrediting all coaches because there's a website out there, and I used it a couple years ago. I wish I knew it now, but you can actually go on there and search up topics of whatever you want, real estate, whatever it is, and they'll have a list of people and their qualifications or whatever, and they'll charge you per minute, per hour, whatever. And so you can just book a time with them. And so like when I was first starting off, I had my properties and I was like, I want to shift and do it a different way, but I was like so much in my brain of like how to do it. And so I looked it up and I found this guy. He had over 10,000 units and a real straightforward guy. So I booked a call for like $100. I was on the phone with him for 20 or 30 minutes. And before the phone call, you set up a sheet where you're like, here's what I want to talk about. Here's whatever it is. As soon as this dude called me, he's like, I don't want to waste any of your time. So he's like, let's just jump right into it. And then for 30 minutes, just straight value. He's like, all right, let's look at this property. Let's look at this. Here's what you should do. Here's all these, whatever the fact may be. And then so that was so much value for $100. And that website's awesome because like whatever you are in and whatever. So like I said, I'm not discrediting all coaches, but like, I think people should be a lot more wise with their money and just like not get caught up in that social media. Like you look at the market right now with this GameStops and all that, it's so easy to get caught up in the hype of like what's going on. The hype train is real nowadays with social media.
And kind of to touch back too, like I remember, and that's why I appreciate you. And I reached. You were one of I think you were the first person I reached out. Asking questions and stuff was because you were dropping little hints that were like, hey, bro, like, what are you doing with your money? Like, every time I see you, you're busy as fuck. You got people waiting. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm saving it. Like, but it didn't click. You know what I mean? That you were noticing that the business of, my business was doing well. And I remember I was like, I think I mentioned like, oh, bro, look at my pinky ring. And you were like, what the fuck are you doing,
that shit
bro?
drives me crazy.
I know.
It drives me fucking crazy. I'm from the world of tough love, too. So I realized that lately, too. I'm like, maybe I got to be a little softer
I never
on
took
people.
any of that wrong, bro. I never took any of that. And I remember after, like, I was posting about it. And again, I told you, I'm a totally different person. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't believe that. From when I was working here, I consider this, for the time that I've been working and doing stuff, that was my prime. Absolutely. Yeah. At the moment. I mean, place and time.
Work-wise? Like business-wise?
Yeah, like income. And it was like, bro, I was coming in, it was coming in consistently for a year and a half. I'm going stupid, bro. I tell people all the time, I went from like 30,000 in a restaurant to 55 at this barbershop. Not this one, the other one. And then a full year here, I made $100,000. Yeah. Like I was 20.
You doubled your income in a year,
crazy, right?
2 years, whatever it was.
So, I'm just like, not the opposite of frugal. I'm like, yo, you guys don't got money. You guys want to go eat? All right, cool, let's go. It's on me. Doing stupid shit like that, like not even looking. And it was like, it was really cool when it was happening because it was so new. You know what I mean? And my wife is working, bro. So we're it was a good year and a half.
Bro, 70% or more of lotto winners go broke after the first, like they die and go, like, and that's the same exact thing. Like they had nothing, and then all of a sudden, that's just like a little taste of. So it happens to everybody,
dude. And it was crazy because it's like I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just like, bro, I know my books are full. I know this is coming in. I'm cutting people at home. Like it's almost like for sure, and it was. And of course, I'm buying a bunch of stupid shit, bro. We're spending going to Vegas for 3 days, spending $5,000. Cool. Yeah, bro. It was happening so fast, and I remember I was like, bro, nobody can tell me a fucking thing. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that I moved because when I moved, it was still the same mindset. Yeah. I'm like, obviously the shop was brand new. It was right by the airport, so it's like. And the first 2 weeks I'm like, oh bro, I'm gonna get back to what I was immediately.
But you were leaving the shop on that mentality because you were when you left here, you were doing those numbers
for sure. So and even when we got there, I was telling my wife, let's go get a steak, let's do this. And again, I'm so happy that everything, like, it fucking sucks. A lot of people are going through stuff, people pass and stuff, but like, I'm so glad that like income stopped for me.
Yeah.
In such a drastic way, because I feel like I woke up. I feel like I was slapped in the face and be like, bro, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really, and I'm so thankful that happened. Again, like I don't even know how to express it, because that mentality, bro, was going to keep me doing those numbers until I'm 35, 36, running through shit, having a bunch of stuff that's stupid.
Isn't that crazy to be thankful for a situation like that? Like,
Yes,
you're thankful
bro.
that you lost money or that income stopped. Like that's the crazy, like, and that's what I think is the most beautiful thing about shit like that, is just like most people will have that happen to them, especially during these times where people have lost their jobs, income, hours, whatever the fact may be. Most people would have that happen to them, and then it's everyone else's fault. And they never learn from that situation. They don't try to grow from it. They don't try to learn from it and, oh, so this will never happen to me again.
Sure.
Everything is just like, fuck everything. It's coronavirus's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my job, whatever the fact may be. And then they'll never learn, and then they'll just continue that cycle for the rest of their life. And it's just like, sometimes you got to get kicked in the nuts or punched in the face and not get mad about it. You're like, oh, now I see. Now that woke me up of what needs to happen for moving forward. Because, yeah, a lot of people, unfortunately, I know a lot of my guys over at my last job, they've been working there for 10, 20, 30 years, and that's all they've had to do. And life was great, man. Money was very good over there. A lot of hours, 100 hours to 140-hour work weeks. I mean, it's brutal. There was times where we were doing 42 hours straight, straight.
Yeah.
People hear that and they're like, oh, yeah, you went to bed at some point? I was like, no, it's straight. Like, you work, if there's a show and if this is the last show, and you got to take it all down, so you got to take it all apart, load it out into the semi-truck. So sometimes it's a 5-truck show, sometimes it's an 8-truck show, it depends. And then when that show is completely, now you're doing this, the show ends at like 10:30 at night. So now you've already been there since 8 a.m. So now that's 16 hours pretty much at midnight right there. Once that show's loaded out, say it's officially out at 7 o'clock in the morning, now there's another show, though, on stage in the afternoon. So now you have to build that show for the afternoon show. So, like, it's a brutal job. So you're on hours. So the money's great. And like I said, these guys have worked there for 10, 20, 30 years. And it's just like you get paid weekly. You got benefits. You got all these things that you're used to. And then, the pandemic happens. And, in the arts, in the, entertainment business, like, that was the first to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's a 3,200-seat auditorium over there. Day one, gone.
Fuck.
And that'll probably be the last. Like, I think about, like, at what point are people going to be comfortable to pack 3,200 people in seats next to each other? Like, maybe they'll go 50% capacity, whatever the fact may be. But so these dudes, like I said, they've never had to go get another skill job, whatever the fact. It's always been great. And now, it's just tough. The unemployment and all these things. And it's just like, it's reassured me that's like, okay, one source of income will never be enough, like inexcusable. It's almost like back in the day where it's like, okay, in the 70s, whatever, it's like you have to graduate high school. And like our parents, even grandparents, like they had factory jobs, like graduated high school and they had factory jobs and could support 6 kids, like, and have a nice house and the whole deal. And then it became, okay, you at least have to get your bachelor or associate. Like, you have to go to college, and you at least have to get a 2-year degree or whatever. And then it's like, now we're at, like, you need a master's in order to even be at a certain point. And I feel like, to anything. And I feel like it's the same exact thing with, like, income. It's like you could have, back in the day, you could have one source of income and, like, whatever. And now it's just like, it is mandatory to have other avenues. So because just in this last 2 years, coronavirus, so many things have happened, and so you got to be prepared for anything. And it's just like people aren't. Yeah,
and bringing that up too is like, this was a huge slap in the face for me, but it also taught me, of course, different whatever, maybe realize you're being stupid with money, but you touched on it. I don't ever want to feel like that again.
No,
and it kind of blows my mind is that there's a generation where 2008 where they were doing that,
brutal,
struggled. And then this happened again, and it's like the same thing. I'm hearing a lot of stories, and it's kind of like, how the fuck did you not, learn from the first time.
And that's
You know
the
what I
same
mean?
mentality that you had, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm glad that you said that, because when you were living that life of the couple of years where you're like, yeah, this is great, and it's
Yeah.
almost like the mentality of like it's great and it's always gonna be great,
That's exactly how it was. Bro.
and that's exactly
That's dangerous.
2007, 2008 time, and people were just doing asinine shit. And it was just one of those things where like they were getting paid so much money and they were just living in this fantasy world of like, it's going to be like this all the time. Like, let's just keep pumping these mortgages out. It's going to be great. We're buying yachts and who gives a shit? Like, who cares who's getting hurt? Like, whatever the fact may be, like, this is going to be fantastic forever. And then it crashed the entire market. Like, it's just crazy. I had a situation 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago.
Did you bought a yacht?
Yeah, I bought a yacht.
Yeah.
I sold it for a bigger yacht.
I saw
It's
it.
cold. I can't take possession of it. It's right there. Actually, it's in the water
Yeah, it's
over there.
actually-
Yeah.
The big one.
Yeah, the big one. That's what it's called too. The big one.
Yeah.
But it was I was getting a business line of credit, and I actually flew out to L.A. Man, was this 2 years ago? Something like that. Year and a half, 2 years ago. But I was meeting with these guys who I was buying a seasoned corporation. So it's like a seasoned LLC, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so I was talking to this guy on the phone, and he was a big shot out in LA, and he was like, come out and, you know, come to our office. It was on like the major street in LA. I can't remember now.
Melrose?
But no, it was Wilshire Boulevard.
Okay.
So I ended up flying out there, but I'm on the phone with this guy, and he, at one point he goes, we're talking about how much money you can get from these, like by taking out lines of credit off of these seasoned corporations. Seasoned corporations are basically corporations that have, someone has had them and grown them and put income through them. And so like you could buy a season, so it's been around for 5 years and it's had money come through it, and then you can go and get lines of credit off of that.
Based off of that.
Gotcha. And so you can just buy it and take possession of it. Someone sells it to you. So I have mine, Matt Riley LLC. I've had it for 5 years. I've put my business through it and generates millions of dollars. I could sell it to you for X amount of dollars, and then you take possession of it, and now it looks like that was all you. And then you go to the bank, and you know. So there's definitely some shady people out there selling really bad. So don't do that. Don't do coaches if you don't know who the fuck it is, and don't buy seasoned corporations if you don't know who the fuck it is. But this guy on the phone, and it still sticks with me. He was laughing, and he's like, yeah, you go to the bank. He's like, easily, all of our applications are getting approved 98% of the time. If you buy this corporation, you're 98%, you'll get $250,000 in a line of credit easily. It'll be no brainer. He's like, they're giving out money like it's 2008 again. And he starts laughing, and that laugh is still in my head from 2 years ago, where I was like, oh, fuck. This is not good. And he did that to me twice, 2 different phone calls, where I was like, oh, maybe he was just like kind of in a good mood that day and like kind of let it, you know, whatever. And then he said it to me again. And the second time he said it to me, I was sitting at the BP parking lot here in South Loop on Roosevelt. And I was like, and that was when he said it to me the second time, I was like, oh, that's not really that good though, right? Like I know that's not a good sign though, right? And he's like, yeah, well, just gotta take it while it's there. And then we hung up the phone, and that's when I like called a bunch of people, and I was like, something's gonna happen. And so I ended up getting I ended up maxing out all my lines of credit. Like I got as much money as possible from that, because I was like, something might happen. Coronavirus happened, and that has nothing to do with that. But I'm glad, because a lot of the applications that I was putting in that were getting approved, people were doing it right after me, literally a week after me. All of them were getting declined. All of their credit limits were getting reduced. Like they were taking money away from people. Like it got really scary for a little bit right when coronavirus happened, because nobody knew what the fuck this thing was, or how long it was going to be, or what was going to happen, or none of those things.
Yeah, hold on. So let's talk a little bit about that, bro, because I've heard that term a little bit, but I don't really, with the business credit.
Yeah.
So what is that different than, like, is that different than personal credit?
Yeah. So basically, and I recommend it to, like, so when Trump became president, this is the only political shit that we're going to be getting into.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Hey, shout out the boy, bro. Shout out the boy.
I got my shirt on underneath and shit. Like, man, it's getting hot. And as I go like this, I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot I had that on. But when he first, they changed the tax plan. So basically you could write off less as a single individual. So if you don't have a business or whatever, like guys that just have a W-2 job, their deductions were less. So they could write off less, and it capped off at like $15,000 or whatever. So say a bunch of stuff happened in your personal life. You bought a bunch of tools, you bought a bunch of fucking equipment and whatever else. And say it was $30,000 in equipment. You could only write off $15,000 of it, say. I don't know about the actual number, but so it didn't matter. So these guys were spending more money than they could write off, and so they were getting less money back, and it was kind of fucking them. Like my dad's a great example, makes good money, but he's been in his house forever, and so and he owes money every single year, and it's crazy to me. But he at that point had no businesses to write. He couldn't write it off, so he only had very limited what he could do. Yeah. And so having a business, an LLC, is one of the best things that you can do. Obviously, you have to have a business. Like you can't just open one up and just say, "Hey, I bought a jacket today," and fucking wrote it off. I mean, unless you want to do tax evasion Al Capone style. Yeah. But like I said, like this or any kind of thing that you can make, like when you open up an LLC, that's where you put all of your write-offs at. So like my tax bill this year was like $50,000. Like it was crazy what I owed. And then through all my write-offs, through like my investments and all that, whatever else, I got it down to like $3,000. If that was just me though, and just I had nothing, and I was just an W-2 employee, like I would have had to eat that, and I would have owed, whatever the effect may be. So you inside of that LLC, you take it and you go to the bank and you open up a business bank account. You take your articles and take everything there, your EIN number, open it up, and that's when you get like the credit card that I showed. I have a Chase card, Amex. You go all over the place, and your business credit cards and your business line of credit is on the business side, not on your personal. So if you have $100,000 limit. Sure. Throughout all these different cards on your business side, it does not reflect on your personal. So you could max out $100,000 on your business side. Your personal won't even reflect it. Your credit score will stay the same. Your debt to income ratio will stay the same. You're not maxed out anywhere. So like I have one personal card on me, and I only put it in my wallet the other day. Otherwise, I only carry business cards. Like I don't even swipe my personal shit anymore. To be able to write it off because like before I did all of that, I paid off all my personal cards. So now like my DTI, my percentage is like 2% is what I'm spending on my personal
DTI side. Debt to income, right?
Debt to income. There you go. See? Welcome to the trenches.
Guys, hey. Okay, so I understand. Thank you for that explanation because I was really confused. Now, do you have a business credit line score?
Yeah, so you can do that too. So there's different ways to work it up. So there's obviously the name of the game is to fully remove yourself from the personal side. So like when you first start, when you go to apply, say for a business credit card, they're gonna run your personal credit. So they're gonna look to see like what your personal credit score is and all that kind of stuff, and then they're gonna lend to you off of that. So like what I've seen is for the most part, like that first round of credit cards that you get on the business side, those limits are going to be close to what your limits are on the personal side. So like if your highest card balance limit size on your personal side is like 10 grand, they're probably going to stick to something like that over on that side. And then you can grow it from there. But most cards on the business side are 0% interest for 12 to 15 months. What I was doing at one point was I was buying and funding my investment properties on the business side. So I was getting one of my Chase cards I got immediately $40,000 limit on first application. And so I got up to $150,000 at one point, first round of funding on the business side. And so there's ways that you can liquidate those cards into cash. And so you can go purchase properties with business, with business credit. Yeah. And at 0% for 12 to 15 months. Hold on. Okay, I'm following you, but I think I dig. Are you good? You look lost like a motherfucker. I can go back. Hold on. We'll take it step by step. Yeah. So, wow, that's a lot. It's fucking beautiful, bro. Okay. We are barbers. That's what I'm saying. The dream that they sell you on is wrong. Like this is what you need to do.
Yeah, this shit almost sounds like illegal.
Made up. Oh, wait till I get to the credit repair side.
I cannot fucking wait.
Wait till I get the.
So okay, you said the goal is to remove your personal.
Yeah.
Touch that because hold on. So even before that, for example, Diego and I we're 1099, right? So technically we can both get a business line of credit.
Yeah, you guys go.
Because we do, right? I mean, shout out to my aunt, Tia Lucy. She is a fucking thug, bro.
Yeah.
Like, she's a gangster with taxes and stuff. So she,
Dude.
she, you know what I mean? Like legally, of course. She works at Jackson J. Hewitt. Yeah. And she's the one who was explaining this to me, but not really in depth. She's like, listen, just
fuck the Jackson Hewitt and Hoffman estates.
I was going to say, bro, that's what she worked for. Chill out.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Fuck them.
She was the one who was like, so what are your, like, I'm like, I don't know. She's like, listen, print out all your things, highlight what you use for work, this, and that, and do it like that. But that's, we never really got, she was, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Tax game is a beast in itself.
It's a monster, and I love it, and I love learning about it. But,
so smart.
Okay, so, for example, let's use Diego for an example, right? Because he's 1099, so, and he has his personal credit, but he wants to do business credit. It's ideal to remove your personal credit when you can do that, right?
Yeah. So what I mean by removing, so when you first
even use it. Type shit.
Yeah. So like when you first so say you create Welcome to the Trenches LLC, whatever the fact may be,
Right.
it's going to be a brand. Yeah. So it's going to be a brand new LLC. It's going to have no history, no nothing. So when you first go to open up that business account and that business credit cards and all that kind of stuff, that has no history. So they're going to pull your personal credit score and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Lend to you on that. You can rack those up and it's not going to reflect. But if you default on one of those, so say you rack up 15 grand on one of those business cards and you don't pay, they'll come after your personal. So what I mean by the end goal is to remove yourself is to build up your business credit score. So there's something called a Duns number and all that kind of stuff. And that's similar. Duns number is similar basically to what your FICO score and all that is.
Okay.
So once you've been in the game and you do it and you open up the right accounts and all that kind of stuff for 2 years, two years of on-time payments, similar to the personal, you've now built that business score up enough where now you can go get lines of credit and loans and whatever you want just off the business, not off your personal. So when at that point, once your score reaches a certain and you've got the history and all that kind of stuff, you can now go apply and they're not going to look at the personal anymore. So that's what I mean by like the goal is to remove yourself. So in the beginning stages, you're still going to be attached. You can run it up. You can do all that kind of stuff. It's not going to run up your credit score, down or anything. But like I said, if you default on that, it's going to come back to your personal. So the goal is to detach yourself completely so you can actually do everything on the business side. Like I want my personal score to stay where it is. I don't want to open up another, just leave it alone and then only focus on the business side. Like that's it. That's the goal.
Yeah, because that's where you can write stuff off.
That's where
knock that shit down.
And you can have as many, like every property you get, you open up a new LLC, and so it's just like it's a never-ending thing. It's just constant write-offs, and obviously you have to have legal expenses and all that.
Yeah,
but like,
So hold on. Okay, so
none of this is financial advice either.
Yeah, this is. Hold on. So okay. So, for example, we have Welcome to the Trenches LLC. We are a media company, right? Now, you were.
Is it a real one? Did you guys do it yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
What's it called? So he threw me on what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So, we are a media company, right? Now, you were going into using those line of credits to purchase properties.
Yeah.
Is now because Welcome to the Trenches is that's an umbrella? Like, can I use that as like, for example, can I say this is my media company, but we also have, I guess, a separate division where it's a real estate, but it's all under the same LLC, or you have to do separate ones?
So there's different ways. So what I used to do is I did what's called a series LLC. And so basically what that is and was is, and they kind of outsourced it where they don't really use it anymore. But basically what it is, it's similar to what you're saying. So the way it was explained to me was the main LLC is the Mama Duck. So Matt Riley LLC would be the main one. And then that had arms to it.
Okay.
And so each property would have its own arm inside of that. So that would be the umbrella, and each one had its own individual. But banks stopped they didn't like working with them too much because it they thought it was too much liability because you had too many things on side. You could go after them individually, but it was still under that umbrella, and they didn't like it. So now I would just. Illinois is reduced. Well, you'd be doing it in Vegas, wherever you do it. But Illinois reduced all of their LLC fee. It's so cheap to open up an LLC. So each property is just a different LLC. And then you just write, and then all of my, so if I buy an investment property under this LLC, all my rental income comes in from just deposit it into that bank account. So I keep everything separate. But like you could do a series is what you're kind of referring to.
Sure.
In terms of that. But I would just do like Welcome to the Trenches podcast, LLC. if you have another branch of whatever, I would do a different LLC. And again, you know, I would always talk to a tax attorney and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean,
But-
there's.
So with that, let's for example, welcome to the Trenches podcast, and then we'll do two Blurry real estate, right?
Yeah. So
Does that run the same line of credit, or do you have to build this one because it's the same?
The Windy City Agents. I have an LLC for that. I have for investment properties. I'm all in small properties, so that's a different one. So if you look at my credit cards, whatever I have, and that's the beautiful thing about business credit cards too, is that you can get you can get $10,000 line of credit for Welcome to the Trenches LLC, and then for Welcome to the Trenches real estate.
Yeah.
And so like it's really easy to build, and like that's why it's crazy what you can do on that side. And like I said, it's beautiful because it does not on the personal. Like when I first started, it was tough because I would go, like I was legit working at my old job, and I would just save up every dollar I had. Like it was brutal. I couldn't do fucking anything. And as soon as I reached that X amount of $25,000, whatever it was for that down payment, I'd go and spend on that down payment right away. And then if that house needed any kind of rehab, anything, it was coming out of my own money. So it was either coming out of my personal checking account or I was running personal credit cards. And so say it needs a new kitchen or it needs new whatever, I'm racking up $10,000 on my personal credit. Now my score just tanked. My DTI just shot up. I'm no longer loanable. Nobody wants it until I pay all that off. And then you pay it off, and it takes a while for it to go. So I was like, fuck that. And so that's when I realized about the business side. So now I can just do business credit cards. So buy a property on the business side, pay for everything on the business side, and my score stays clean. I don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff, and I can still move forward. And say I'm doing this, and another deal pops up, and I want to put it on the personal side, I can. Because it's not affected.
So you'll put a whole property on a card?
Yeah. It's in theory, yes. Like you can either there's ways to wire money from your business credit cards to the actual title company. There's programs and ways to actually liquidate a card. So if it's got a $20,000 limit, there's ways to actually pull that money off and essentially turn it into cash to do whatever you want with. And it's like I said, a lot of them are anywhere from 12 to 15 months, 0%. And you can balance transfer them to another card for another 12 months. You can essentially have 0%
Hold on.
for
you
over
can
2 years.
like
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, like the property I bought.
Hold on. So let me dumb it down.
Yeah.
Okay, you have five business credit cards, right? You put 50 grand down. Let's just say you put 50 grand down for the down payment. After those 12 months, you transfer that to the other one. That give you another 12 months.
Yeah. So say I have just one card and it's a $50,000 limit, and I liquidate that entire card. So now that card's maxed out to buy that property. Like how I like to do it is I buy investment properties like rentals, and then I use that rental money to pay that back. And so most likely, I'm not going to be able to pay that 50 grand back with just that. So whatever's left, I balance transfer that to another card. So they'll take that balance, and put it out. So now I'm fresh again, and I can do that for another 12 to 15 months. And then you can balance transfer up to 2 times, depending on the card and all that kind of stuff. So you can jump to another card and have up to 2 years of 0%. So like the one that I bought it for $58,000. It rents for $1,350 a month. So that's what I'm bringing in. So I put that on my business card. So literally I'm taking the $1,350 and so that balance goes down $1,350 a month. And then if I don't reach 0 by the time it's done with the 0%, I'll just balance transfer to another card for another 12 to 15 months and get another. I want to do that for as long as possible because credit card rates are 20% or whatever. So that's the key.
That's amazing, bro.
And the whole time you haven't touched your personal side.
Yeah. I think that's really important too, bro, because I want you to talk on that is like not using your personal money. Because I know for the longest time, I'm like, dude, I cannot wait till I have 20 grand.
Fuck that.
And then just blow it all on my down payment or whatever.
Fuck that.
And it's like people like you that talk, like, they're like, dude, I never use any of my fucking money.
OPM,
and you
other
always
people's
hear
money.
that. And you always hear that, like, for example, shout out Mike. Mike was like, bro, we have all these, him and 2 partners, they do a bunch of stuff in, I don't know what the fuck.
Gunshots.
They have a bunch of properties in Ohio or Indiana, right? They're in Indiana. And he's like, bro, I haven't used a dime of my money.
No.
And it's like, it's fucking crazy, bro. So explain that a little bit. So
Other people's money, man. OPM.
So is it better with that, right? For example, I do what you just said. I get a business line of credit. I do that. I liquidate the first card for the down payment for the first crib, and then we move it like that.
Yeah.
Is that better than going and getting an HFA loan? Or,
it depends. So like, I would. It's a dangerous game. Don't get me wrong. Like,
which one? That one?
The business, like liquidating your cards and all that. It's
Yeah.
dangerous in the sense of like that. I don't know. I know it's on the personal side, but you have to pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people in a lot of circles that they'll be like, oh, you can get 150, 250, 500. Like the numbers can get crazy, and so when you start hearing those numbers, you're like, oh fuck, I can go buy this, I can go buy that.
$250,000 available. Is
Yeah,
a lot,
bad. And so it's just like, at the end of the day, that has to get paid back. So it's like, it's a great option if it makes sense, but you have to make sure. I would reserve this for someone that's been in the game a little bit, just because you want to know what it's like. You got to get your experience up a little bit, get your feet wet a little bit, because like I said, it's just you drop 150 and you fucked up and you didn't do your numbers correct or whatever. All it takes is one thing, and now all of a sudden you're like, fuck, you did your balance transfer, cool. That balance transfer is about to expire. Now you're sitting at 20%, paying that back. So I'm paying $1,350 for my rent, but this is 20%, and so now that balance just is not coming down, and I'm stuck with fucking $50,000 balance, $100,000, whatever the fact may be. So like we were talking before, I think that there was a dream that was sold however long ago, 80 years ago, 70, whatever it was, that buy your first house, have your kids there, live there 60 years, whatever the fact may be. And I think it was a dream that was sold by the banks, because the banks are the only ones that make money when you buy a house. Like, it's not good for anybody else. I tell most people that buy houses don't live there for 30 years. Our grandparents, like I was saying, our grandparents did, because there was no programs like there was now. There was no 3.5% down. There was no 5% down. There was none of those programs. They even have 0% down. None of that existed. It was either 20 to 50% down. So they were taking their entire life savings, which was barely, because they were working factory jobs and whatever. And so when they moved in, they had no money. They couldn't go anywhere else. They couldn't, like, that was it. And so I think, like I said, the dream was sold by the banks that were like, yeah, keep doing it, because they make their interest off of that. And so I think if you have the opportunity and the ability to do an investment property, if possible, your first time, FHA allows you 1 to 4 units, owner occupied, 3.5% down. You have to move in within 60 days of closing, and you have to live there for 12 months. After 12 months, FHA says that you can move out. So if it's a 4 unit,
that's the house hacking we're talking about.
House hacking, yeah. So house hacking, there's the BRRRR strategy: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So it's similar to that. So I like I said, if you buy your first house, say you have a clean slate, you have nothing. If your first property, you're like, let me go buy my house first. Let me get settled in, and then I'm gonna go, I'll do my investment thing. Well, you buy your first house for $200,000, whatever. You go get a loan. You're like, I want to go buy a multifamily now. I want to go buy an investment property. You now have, that's debt. That's not making you any money. So when you go get a loan, that loan officer's going to look at that. Like, oh, you bought, it's $200,000. You put 10 down, say. So it's $190 of debt, and so your lending power is now reduced because of that. Assets over liabilities. You want to buy the multifamily first. Like I said, it's going to be a little uncomfortable maybe for the first year or two, however long you want to do it. But buy a multifamily first, live in one of the units, rent out the others, stack your cash up for 12 to 24 months, move out, rent that unit, now go buy that dream house if you want, or flip that, do it one more time. Now you have 2, 3, or 4 units. Now the rental income from those 2 pays for the dream house mortgage. Every time that if you buy an investment property, 2 to 4 units, they're going to count that rental income towards your personal income and help you qualify. So every loan that you get should be better qualification. So by the time you get to that dream house, you're going to have 2 buildings, and they're going to look at all that rental income. And so you'll be able to go get the real dream house, not that bullshit one in the beginning for $200,000. And then you're going to end up settling on a bullshit investment property because that's all you can get qualified for. So the dream is flipped. Buy your investment properties first, and then end with the single family dream house or whatever you want. Let the investment properties pay for that. And that's the game right there.
Because here's my thing, right? I am a huge proponent of Well, speaking to you, obviously I got that, but you know, I don't, and a lot of people that I've seen on YouTube, I don't want to I don't want to live in a house first. Like I want to rent. Like I'm renting for my parents technically.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking cool with that, bro. I'd rather the money that I'm gonna spend on you. I think you said it perfect. That I don't want to call it the bullshit house, but that's the house that you can afford at the time.
Yeah.
So you're almost settling. Like you know, you don't want to live in the corner of, you know, just because this little ass like
100%.
you know what I mean.
100%.
Like now in Vegas, bro. You've been obviously right.
Yeah.
Bro, there's houses in the fucking mountains, 800,000, 700,000, bro, fucking beautiful. And it's just like, yeah, you can't get there right now. So let me go and get this so that every morning I wake up, I can look at this beautiful skyline. You know what I mean? Like walk out with my Versace robe. You know what I mean?
Of course you would. Pinky ring, Versace ring.
I was waiting for that shit. No, but
two pinky rings.
And I that you know that gets the gears grinding more for me. Let's do the investment stuff now. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like to just super dumb it down, like, and it's not even like dumb it down, but it's like a way that even like I understood it. It was just like everybody has debt and liabilities in their life, whether it's your car insurance, whether it's your phone bill, whether it's your electric bill, whatever. So like my strategy has been the last couple of years, like, get an asset that pays for each liability that you have in your life.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Yeah, so it's like whatever, like, and that's why like a lot of people that are in financial distress don't know what their monthly situation is. They don't know what their total monthly nut is. Like they've never written down the numbers of like what's my mortgage or my rent, what's my grocery bill, what's this, what's that, and like really see what they're spending on a monthly basis. To see what the fuck they can cut out. Yeah. Bullshit that they have to get rid of. And then B though is just to see like, okay, what do I have to bring in to replace all of that? And so, like, assets over liabilities, but also, like, every asset that you get should pay for a liability, or every liability you get should pay for it. Mm-hmm. So, like, whether it's the real estate, whether it's in the stock market, like, if you buy a stock, make sure it pays dividends, because there's different stocks that pay monthly dividends, quarterly dividends. So most of our bills come out monthly. So like get a dividend that pays you monthly. So if you have an electric bill that's $50 a month, buy enough of that stock that pays you $50 in dividends. So now that's replaced. Now it's not coming out of your pocket anymore.
Not even worrying about that shit.
Not even worried about it. And it's making you money. Like you're still in the market. You're still, it's still making you money. It's not like it's like, oh fuck, that's just coming out here. Like you're still in the market. That's still growing. It's still making you money, and it's taking care of your fucking AT&T bill or whatever the fact may be. And then for your bigger bills, like your car insurance and even your car insurance, you could get enough dividends and certain stuff, whatever. But like your rent payment or mortgage and all of that, like that's when real estate really takes effect. And it's like, okay, $500 a door. Okay, I have a $2,000 rent payment or $2,000 mortgage payment. How many investment properties would I need in order to cover that completely? Mm-hmm. And that's when it like almost becomes fun, because you're like, okay, now I make sense of it. I know what my numbers are here. Now I know how many properties. Like all these groups that I'm in, they're just like, how much money a month would you need in order to quit? Or how many doors do you need in order to quit? And I'm like, who gives a fuck about how many doors? I don't care.
Yeah, I remember you said that to me too.
I don't care if I want to own less and make more. So like a lot of people want to blow themselves because they own 1,000 doors. Like how much are you taking home from that? Because a lot of people like leverage and they'll own 1,000 doors, but they partnered with 10 people and like they're not even making any money on it. So it's like, I don't care. I'd rather own 50 and make enough money to cover everything. So it's just like, so when it comes to that, it becomes fun, because now you know what your numbers are here and you know how many properties. All right, my average property makes me $500 to $800 a month. My monthly mortgage payment or rent payment's this, so I know I need 3 properties in order to do that. Now it's a goal. I need 3 properties.
That's awesome.
And so now you're just like, okay, here's number 1. Boom, you got your first one. Now you know, okay, I got 2 more properties left. And so you just keep like that, and it's fun that way. And don't what everybody does is they raise that payment. So they'll make more money on this side, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm making more money here, so let me go get some more expenses over here. And so they'll go get a bigger cell phone bill, or they'll go, blow a bunch of money over here. So then you're just like in that rat race of just like having to buy more properties because these bills keep going up. So I have it's on my old phone, and I like one night I was in bed and I literally just wrote down 2 things, and I was like, here's my ideal lifestyle of here's what I currently expense-wise have, and like my ideal lifestyle is, and I this is what it is. And then I was like, okay, here's what I need to buy in order for that lifestyle. If I want to travel twice a month and I want to be able to maybe have 2 places, one in Chicago, one in fucking Florida, you know, to be able to go back and forth when it's fucking like this.
Yeah,
It's brutal like this. Here's what the expense is for that. And here's what I need to, so like I have actionable numbers written down, pictures in my notes section on my phone. And so it's like you can make a vision board almost and just throw it right up on the wall and be like, here's what it needs to be. And that's like a comfortable lifestyle. Like I always said, like I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to be like the flashy Grant Cardone private jet. Like this would make me happy right here. And so I know what needs to happen in order for that to take place.
Because you're also still working, right? Like you still have. I don't know if that's changed.
I dip in everything. But yeah, like when I left the opera, I was there for 11 years, and then shut down obviously in the last year, and then but I was going back every once in a while, like if they needed a guy or whatever. But yeah, so it's a stagehand at the opera, real estate agent, real estate investor. Started this trucking company, which isn't up and running yet, and then I own. It's called an ISA company, so really it's on like the real estate agent side, but basically my guys they set appointments for real estate agents and whoever else. So I have a team of 10 callers that set appointments, and we have 30 clients, and it's doing really great. They're based out in Nicaragua and Miami, Florida as well. And so,
dude, that's fucking amazing, bro.
It's just like having your hand, like I said, it's just having your hands in as many things as possible, because you never know what's going to, and it just sucks. And it's like the kick in the face. And like I said, this pandemic, I think, has really shown me, because I've seen the stress on people's faces during all of this. And it's like, I don't ever want that to fucking happen again, because I've been there. It's been fucking brutal. And I just that's why I always give advice to anybody that wants it, and I'll help anybody I can, because it's like there's enough out there for all of us to eat, and like I know what that feeling's like, and it's brutal. Especially like I don't have kids or anything. Like these people that have kids and a family, and they just like you feel trapped. You don't know what the fuck to do, and there's so much bullshit information out there too, especially on social media and everything. And maybe somebody's got their last $5,000, and they go buy one of these bullshit courses or something like that, and then they just burned it, and then they don't learn anything, and now they're nowhere to be found. And it's absolutely it's not a good situation for sure.
No, dude, that's terrible. That's bro. It's like, fuck. I don't even know.
But buy an investment property for sure.
Yeah.
Whether you live there or not, like I think that's the name of the game. It's like, and that's if you're into real estate. Like a lot of people, I've talked to people and I've told them, you should buy, and they're like, I'm just not into, I don't want to be a landlord. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, there's other things that you can do for sure. Like you don't have to necessarily buy real estate, because being a landlord fucking made me want to kill myself plenty of times. Where it's just brutal, but like. It makes sense. Like I said, I've held it long enough now where like it's good. Like if I want it to be done right now, like it's paid off. Like it's good. So like I said, if you're into real estate, I would definitely buy an investment property.
No, dude,
and if you want to, because that's why like I'm gonna sell where I live now. Like I bought the condo. Like that's why I think it's so funny. Like I always preach like don't buy a house, and here I am. I bought a condo. Yeah. Fuck it. I'm the worst advice giver. I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world, because I'll just give advice, and I never follow it. But like I'm gonna sell, and then I'm gonna go back to renting. But it makes sense because I have the investment properties, so I get the tax write-offs. I get all the benefits from owning property. So it makes sense for me to go rent, because I don't have to worry. Like, but if I just owned and that was it, you get no tax write-offs, you get no benefits. It doesn't make sense that way. So, like I said, flip it on its head. Yeah.
So going back to your, what do you like to do when you buy them? Do you look for what do you look for investment property wise?
So I'm primarily, and I've always been primarily Section 8 low income. Whether it's single-family houses, multifamily, whatever the fact may be. Here, and it depends on where you are market-wise too. Like here in Chicago, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever, but we probably have one of the most subsidized states in the country. Like people always think Section 8, or they think subsidy and they think Section 8, and that's the only thing. But like Section 8 is the largest of them all, but there's probably 100 other subsidy programs out there. And there's just not enough affordable housing out there in general. And so I look for areas primarily because the way that Section 8 operates is it's off of zip codes. Pretty much. And so each zip code pays different pay rates. And so when I first started, I was only buying in the zip codes that paid the most money. That's all I was interested in because I was an ass. Like all I care about is the most money possible.
Yeah. Why is that bad though?
Yeah, it's not. It's always one of those things where it's just like, like when you're I've never bought a property and told somebody that I was the owner. I always told them like I was the management or whatever because it's just a bad stigma, and especially now during a pandemic with like. When the pandemic first started, there was a huge movement on Twitter and everything else, hashtag rent strike. And people wanted to like eat their landlords. Like they were like, fuck you, when people see that you own a property, that you own a building or that you're the land, like they think that you're a millionaire. They think that you're just like all these other scumbag Wall Street guys and whatever. And that you're just trying to use and abuse them for rent money and blah, blah. So I never tell anybody, that I'm the owner or anything like that. So, but I would only buy in areas that made the most money. But now it's more, you do that and that's good, but sometimes you buy in some rough neighborhoods and so your shit just gets beat up a lot. Yeah, there's just a lot of turnover. And so now it's just more, and I used to like, the more bedrooms that you would have, the more money that property could make. So a 3-bedroom voucher makes more, or a 3-bedroom voucher makes less money than a 5-bedroom voucher. So I was like, let me buy a 5-bedroom house that makes $3,000 a month. Awesome. Well, a 5-bedroom voucher holder has 10 people. So you got 10 people in that house, and they're just murdering that. I just had the stories that I have investment-wise are just wild. I had one 2 months ago. I had to call my plumber out because my tenant was just like, "Hey, everything is backed up, like everything. Like there's 2 bathrooms, both tubs are backed up, the sink is back. Like there's just we can't shower, can't do nothing." I was like, "God damn, this is like the 3rd time this month that something's going on." Like, all right, so I sent my plumber over there, and he was sending me videos. He's like, "Bro, there are 15 Hot Wheel cars. Just like this kid, they didn't have like the plug on the tub." So this kid was just throwing shit down there and then in the toilet too, throwing his Hot Wheel cars down the toilet and flushing everything. And it clogged everything up, and it cost me $2,000 because it like backed up the shower too. So he had to take out the floor in the shower, jack up the concrete, get down to the pipe, replace the pipe. Like it was brutal.
Yeah.
I had a guy arrested one time at my 3 unit because he wasn't paying rent. And then I had to serve him an eviction. And then I had cameras in the building. I had one in the back. I had one in the laundry room. And he tried tearing down the cameras, thinking that if he tore down the cameras, because I got the eviction on camera. And he thought if he tore down the cameras that like the footage would be gone. So it still infuriates me when I watch the fucking thing. But like he was tearing it down. And I was on the phone with the police at the same time. And the police, like, I was like, yeah, he's doing it right now. He's doing it right now. And then all of a sudden the footage just stopped. And I was like, yeah, you got it. And then I looked at the back camera. Not even, like 90 seconds later, I don't know how fucking they got there that fast. All of a sudden, 5 cops just come running in the back door.
Fuck.
60 seconds later, here he comes out in handcuffs coming out of the back. And he hadn't paid me in 3 months probably.
So what happens there? You just have to take it on the chin. You can't really do shit about that.
Brutal. Right? So Illinois is.
Shout out Illinois.
Yeah, shout out Illinois. Right. That's another thing too. It's like I want to rent again because I want that flexibility of like I don't know what's happening in Chicago. Like I really don't like Chicago.
Yeah, it's kind of
Chicago, born and raised. Love Chicago always. There's no place like it. But like I said, I've lived all over the city in the last 10 years. That's how I've been here in the actual Chicago for over 10 years, different spots. And I've been here in the South Loop for over 4. And this last year was the first year where like I felt uncomfortable in the city, like just walking around like normal shit where I'm like, this just doesn't feel the same. Like murders all the time, shootings.
You just told me about a crazy one.
Yeah. So there's one, there's a block and a half away from me, a popular. I don't know where's he. The Giro.
I don't know.
Where's he based out of? Is he Chicago?
Yeah.
So
like South Side.
Yeah. So a popular Chicago rapper. There's a barbershop a block and a half away from me, and yesterday or 2 days ago, 1:00 in the afternoon, dude. This rapper's associate, one of his best friends, is getting his hair cut in there. Another car pulls up in front. They have it on camera. Car pulls up front. Guy walks inside. Hey man, where's the bathroom at? and it's in the back. So he goes to the back, goes in the bathroom, comes out, all of a sudden just goes right up to the dude, shoots him in the head 4 times, leaves, runs, gets in his car, takes off, doesn't find any, like, not caught, nothing. Where we are right here, there was a hotel party, and there's a parking garage attached to here. And it, like,
so Richie told us to go yesterday, bro.
Yeah.
He put us in fucking danger, bro.
Is that the one that's got all, like, the
all the
art on it?
Yeah.
So it's that one, yeah. So 2 o'clock in the morning, there was, like, a 18-year-old kid. He was getting in his car, whatever, and he got murdered inside that parking garage at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning. And they think it was from, like, a party that was happening here and whatever. So, yeah, this pandemic, man, I think I know everybody's got their own ideas and whatever, but I think there's so many, like, micro issues with it as well. And so, like I said, these hotels and everything are dying. The fucking Hilton right here has been empty for a year, and all these places are dying. And so you either got to pay them the money, like, you want to shut everything down, that's fine, but give them money, because these hotels are dying to the point where, like, they're renting rooms out for $70-$80 a night. So people are coming from all over the city and renting these nice ass rooms and throwing these giant hotel parties and shit.
That's happened in Vegas a lot too, bro. There's been a crazy amount of, like, and you know, this again, people that are, you know, live there forever, they're like, dude, the strip is like, they're almost like scared of it to go, dude. Because there's like same thing, and there's a huge people from Vegas don't like people from California. I don't fucking know.
You know, it's 4 hours away.
Yeah, but there's a huge thing where, like, dude, now rooms like at the Cosmo, you know what I mean? $80,
That's what I'm saying.
$90, and it's just like people. There's like shootings inside, outside, and people getting robbed, and then they're like, well, it's because of this shit. So, but people, it's like dying now. Used to see a little bit of traffic on the strip, not anymore, bro.
In the Loop, what's the name of the fucking place? The Swiss Hotel. I think it was the Swiss. There was a shootout in the elevator, in the main building elevator, like going up and down to the rooms. There was another hotel party, and it was to whatever time, and there was a shooting, murder inside the elevator. And so I think like you just have these people that, like, would never be able to afford a nice hotel, and so it's like, oh, 80, and there's no, like, here at least there's a front doorman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, there was just a SWAT. I'm on 16th, on 14th. There's a similar situation like this where they built this last year, but there's no front doorman, no nothing. So you can, it's like Airbnb style, but you just get like a passcode that you put in, and then you can get into the building. So there's no, like, checking. So it's like, oh, what is it? $125 for the night? All right, let's get 15 people to pitch in $5.
Yeah.
And we can all go there. And there was a SWAT situation where there was a dude that was, like, holding someone hostage. There were shootings going on, and they ended up arresting the guy. Nobody got shot or killed, nothing like that, thankfully. But they were able to get him out. But dude, they had my whole entire block blocked off for 3 blocks. You couldn't get big SWAT trucks, dudes with the whole deal, and they were able to get them out. But it's just like, it's just crazy, this whole pandemic, and it just, like I said, it affects so many different things, and it's just, when the fuck is it gonna end, or what's the end goal?
Yeah, because a lot of people too. Well, I was kind of wondering too, like, on the commercial side of out here, bro. Like, that's just gotta be done. It's gotta be stupid. Like, is there a bounce back though? Like, you think stuff's gonna bounce back like that? Because all of these big buildings, bro, they're not all residential, and you got, you know, crazy office space. Like, what do you do?
It's brutal, man. You go down, like, you should just take a ride down State Street.
It's just everything's closed. We did that yesterday.
Loop, and go through State Street, and it is just, I would honestly say that if you go the full, however far State Street is, a mile or mile and a half, whatever, I would seriously say 50. It's got to be 50% boarded up. Some are boarded up in a way of, like, when this is over with, we'll just take these down and open back up. Some of them are boarded up and the fucking signs are removed from the building. Like, these are giant stores that are on State Street, like, huge square footage, the whole deal, and they've removed, like, they're gone. See you later. Like, the Macy's and all these giant places are leaving. The taxes here are fucking brutal anyway. But it's just, you're shutting people down. But then you can go to Jewel and go full-blown shopping if you want, but then, like, mom and pop shops are closed and they can't, you know, and you're killing these people. I watched a video the other day. This girl, it was either out in LA or I think it was not Vegas, LA. She had been applying for outdoor seating, her outdoor seating at her place for months, and they kept denying her. She built this nice tent, indoor, you know, she had tables, kept denying. There was a movie company And they approved them, and they built this entire thing that was exactly identical. But they said yes to them because it was a big movie company. They said no to her, and she filmed herself. She was crying. She's like, "I'm there. My business can't. I'm making no money. I've been making no money for a year. I've been applying, and you've been saying no, and I've written letters. The whole time you said no, and she's like, and you say yes to this." And she pans over, and it's this entire. It's a fucking half a block, and then she pans over. It's literally 80 feet away, hers, and she built it already. Put all the money into it. It's very nice. It's got tables that are 6 feet, the whole deal. And she's like, but you say this is not okay, but this is okay. And it's just like I said, I'm all for making everybody safe. Nobody wants anyone to get sick. Nobody wants anyone to die. If you're going to be in charge and you say, hey, everybody's got to shut down or whatever, you have to give them money. You can't say that you can't eat. You have to give people a way to live. If you're not going to give them money, you have to let them live. You have to give them away. And like, so when these businesses are like opening up and saying fuck you, like we're gonna stay open, like it's like you're giving them no option.
Yeah.
So it's really tough all the way around.
Yeah, because at some point too, like, you know, I don't know what the fines are, but it's just like it's either go bankrupt or take this fine. Like,
what are you gonna
I'm
do?
Take the fucking fine,
and
bro.
most people have kids and a family, and they've been doing it for however long, and it's just like, what are you supposed to do?
You're also employing people. Like, it's not even just you. You almost remove yourself. You got, you know, 15 different people working, you know, 24 hours or whatever it is.
Like the Barstool Fund that was created, like by
that was awesome.
by I mean, it is up to $33 million, and it's that exact mentality of like, hey man, we'll play ball. Like, you want to shut it down, no problem, but you have to give people the money. You have to be able to allow them to, like, we all have bills, and it's like, so if you're not going to do that, you have to, okay, take the risk. If you want to come to my restaurant, you know, and if not, okay, cool, don't come, but like give me the ability to do what needs to be done. Because like I said, I had to walk to the Loop the other day for an appointment or something like that. And like I said, I walked through State Street, and I just was amazed. I mean, it legit is 50%, and it's just like, when the fuck? And it's 50%, so say only a few of them come back. Those are giant businesses, so if those don't come back, you're not getting tax revenue, you're not getting it. Illinois is already a piece of shit of a state in general, so now you're getting no income now. I mean, before the pandemic, there was a lot of commercial space that has been sitting empty forever, and now all of this, and when the rioting was happening and shit, dude, my block, I'll send you videos later, it was one of the, like I said, I've been born and raised south side of Chicago. I've lived in the physical city for over 12 years, 13 years now. During those riots was the first and only time that I legit felt scared and helpless in the city. Like, dude, nobody was coming to help me. My block was on fire.
Dude, I know.
Like, it was wild.
I have these clients, bro. I forget where they live, bro, but they live in a really nice area, bro. Bottom is commercial. And they're just like, they're the nicest people ever. Like, they're no gun. Like, him and his husband, bro, just cool as fuck, love and shit, right? And bro, he's sending videos, and it's like like this, like over his window, bro. There is people going fucking crazy. I could not imagine being down here during that time, bro.
It was
like,
it was.
Imagine you're not strapped, or you strapped. Like, people are gonna bust, and I can't even call the police. I think that's the scariest part, where it's like
that was
the helpless thing, because dude, they're all over the whole fucking city.
So that was the thing. Like, you know, everybody I think that I know, and me, like I was hanging on that. You know, you got the scanner apps and all that kind of stuff, and you're just listening. But like my street, like off my balcony, there's 15 small business shops. There's a dog grooming. There's like 3 nail salons. There's all small business, whatever. And then I got a Jewel and all that. I don't know. And then right connected to my building is, at that point, was empty commercial space. The whole entire bottom of my building. And dude, I was out on my balcony, and like I said, this was for 3 straight days too.
Yeah, I remember.
3 straight days of just nonstop. And so I remember just being out on my balcony, and there, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of shopping carts, because they busted open the Jewel on Roosevelt, ransacked everything, stealing carts, everything, just full of as much as they could. Coming down the street, they would get to like right where my building is, and then they were, all of a sudden, these cars would pull up, no license plates, whatever, because I'm kind of by the expressway. So that was the thing. They were able to get off the expressway, do whatever they needed to do, and then get in their cars and take off on the expressway. Gone. And then you never see them again. So they were getting picked up in front of my place, no license plates, no nothing, and then they would take off. And I remember, and I have a train track right next to my building where, like, and so at one point, all of a sudden I go out there, and there's probably 15 people on this train track next to me. And this train track is so close to my building where, like, I'm on the 4th floor. If you wanted to and you were athletic enough, you could jump from that train track to the 3rd floor because the balconies stretch out so far.
Shit, yeah.
So these motherfuckers are on this train track next to there. And I went out there.
My heart is beating so fast. I could not fucking imagine.
And I went out there and I was like, I'm just going to let you guys know this is the only chance that I'm giving anybody that's out there right now. Like, you guys need to get down, other than, like, this is the only warning I'm giving right now.
They were on the fucking balcony?
Dude, they were on the train tracks looking into my building like this.
Get the fuck out of here.
And so I was like, this is the only... And I could tell, though, that these were just kids that were... Because it was like a coordinated thing, like on social media and shit.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
I could tell that these kids were not what was going on out there. They were just a part of, like, they just wanted to be down here. And so I was like, this is the only warning I'm giving. Like, if I see anybody out and he's, like, looking inside the building and shit, like, that's... And, yeah, they busted open. I watched, and I was screaming across the street. This dog grooming place that just opened up. Nicest people ever. I bring my dogs there. They fucking were stomping the window, throwing shit. They ended up going in there, and all of a sudden they were just coming out with big screen TVs, just one at a time. Mm-hmm. And then they were just, like I said, get in the car and then just take off. And there was just
and people here they already don't get caught. You know what I mean? And then no license plate, like.
And then
the mentality is
I'm
fucking
late.
terrible.
I stayed up till 3:00 in the morning for 3 straight days, and I was, cause I'm on, like, the South Loop Facebook page and all that kind of stuff, and there was, like, people trying to break into the buildings around here. So I'm trying to go to sleep, like, because it started slowing down around 3, and at the same time, like, helpless wise, you would just hear a cop car, lights, the whole deal, and there's hundreds of people with shopping carts, the whole deal, and a cop car would just go flying by. Because they ended up saying there was like 100,000 phone calls. Like, they're not coming for this, you know? So, like, helpless wise, like, say, God forbid something was going down, these cop cars were just flying by. There was no one coming to help you. There was nothing that, like, and so, like I said, I was going to sleep at like 3, and I was in my room, and all of a sudden I just heard boom, a couple of seconds, boom. And then, like, it popped me up, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And, like, got scared, and I'm looking around, and
He said,
yeah. Yeah. And I found out that commercial space, there were some leftover crews, and they were trying to break into that commercial space, and they were trying to get into my building. And I don't know if, like, they couldn't get in or, like, whatever. And so from that point on, there was a couple members of the building that were not going to allow that to happen for the next 2 nights. But yeah, man, it was wild. So I think I just think it was a whole turn of events where I think that there was a lot of people that were, you know, on one side that were like, yeah, we agree with everything that's, you know, fuck. But then, like, that made people hate a lot of stuff. Dude, on Michigan Avenue and State Street, I have videos as well. They were shooting into the stores to break the windows.
Really?
Pulling up in front of, like, a Macy's on State Street, and there was 50 people in front, and this dude backs up and starts shooting into the glass. Almost shooting someone that, like, ducked under his gun. Glass breaks, and they all run, like...
Yeah, I saw somebody run a car into, like, a Gucci store.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, the bulldozer, and then everybody just fucking flew.
Yeah. So it's just, like... It was a wild...
That's terrible,
so
bro.
all these stores were boarded up, and, like, the South Loop Mart that I love going to on 18th, and my boys that work over there, and they're still boarded up to this day. And they were boarded up for the first round, because it happened that first time in the summer, and then whatever it was, 6 months later, whatever, it happened again. Mm-hmm. And so they were boarded up that first time, took down, and then they got fucking ransacked again, and then they left it up. And I was like, what's the game plan? Like, when are you going to take this down or whatever? He's like, fuck, I might leave this up forever. He's like, the insurance isn't helping us anymore. Mm-hmm. They covered us the first time, but now he's like, they're making us cover like 80% of whatever gets damaged or whatever. And so he's like, we're just going to leave it up. Fuck it. Like, so that was the big thing. A lot of people were just like, well, insurance is, you know, you guys are worried about buildings and property insurance. And I was like, these insurance companies are not covering these people. Your insurance is not set up in a way to cover you for this type of shit to go on. These people are dying, and they're not doing it. Like South Loop, what did the South Loop Mart do to anybody, you know? So it's crazy. And so I think, I hope it all, like I said, I think, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but I hope it opens up peacefully and in a way where we can all be healthy and safe and let these people fucking eat again and be able to provide for their families. And I think it's just going to be better for everybody, like, in general, because especially a place like Chicago, like I said, where, you know, you got 50% of businesses that are just dying and you don't know when they're going to come back.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing with Vegas too. Vegas not really, but like places like here, I don't know. I don't see the end game, bro. Like I don't see the shit kind of going back to normal because the Savages are already like out. And
how's Vegas though? Like in the sense of like, I've only been to Vegas in terms of like, you know, when you go to Vegas, you go to the Strip. And that's it. Like, I know there's obviously a whole entire, you know, so it's just like Vegas open now?
It is. So it opened. We were only really closed for like 6 weeks, and then everything was open except clubs. I think strip clubs are open now. That's really the only thing that like that's convention centers. Too.
What do you have to do? A mask and
that's
strip
it.
club?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Allegedly. No, but dude, like, and it was one of those things. I'm like, I remember Diego was like, "Dude, we can't do beards," and I'm like, "Bro, I just shaved somebody's face the day we opened," and I mean, I honestly, I was like, "Bro, we opened too fucking early." Yeah. Like other stuff like that, I'm like, "This is stupid," and you know, it was just constant fear of getting sick until the day I got sick, and I was like, "Well, fuck, this sucks." But yeah, it's so lax. Like, I mean, you have to wear a mask. Like, they won't let you in a store without one. Like, they'll kick you out. Like they don't. That's one of the things that I kind of like. They don't play about that shit. Like, there's a bunch of Karens everywhere. Like, and stuff like that. But they don't play. They're pretty strict about it. But yeah, bro. Like, people come in, chop, take the mask off, shave their face. You can't eat inside. Like, they'll do every other table. Versus places like here, they just allowed 25%, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's what's another thing too. It's just like none of it makes sense. Yeah, so it's just like you go here, like, you know, and it's mostly like Democratic states, like here, New York, like they're heavy on restrictions and all that kind of stuff. And then you go to places like Florida, so it's like it doesn't make sense across the board. So it's like people are confused, and I think that's where a lot of like the retaliation is coming from, because people are like, "Hey, man, this doesn't make sense. You want to make a clear set of rules? Give us the rules, and everybody plays by those rules. Okay, we'll do that. But like, don't tell me that like Florida's wide open, and that they can do whatever they want, outdoor seating, indoor, come fucking do whatever you want. Yeah. And maybe Vegas too, and other places. But then like you come to Chicago, and it's like, it's this weather, and you're eating on a sidewalk outside.
Yeah, that's one of the things Andrew Schultz is talking about, bro. Yeah. He's like, I have to move this little fucking scarf to eat. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it's just a wild scenario, and you know, you got these. I can't eat inside, but you built this tent world outside on the sidewalk with, you know, which is this same exact thing. And it's just I don't
understand. That's the part that I don't understand, which I think is really stupid.
And it's just like there's been a lot of times where these restaurants and businesses have built these fucking cost them thousands of dollars to build it and get the heating and the tables and make it nice and whatever, and then all of a sudden the city comes and goes, you know, yeah, we're shutting this, the restrictions are back now. And so it's like these people have just spent money that they didn't even have to begin with because the business hasn't been open, and
trying to accommodate what they wanted.
Just trying to make trying to do what you're telling me to do, and it is okay, just so I can pay the bills. And then as soon as it's done, I had a couple customers come in and you're like, oh, by the way, COVID tests are back up 1% or whatever it is. So now so now this tent just sits there and that's it. And it's just like, these people just don't know there's no clear set rules of like what to do. Like, cause I mean, and I get it in a sense of like, this technically has never happened before. So there's no like rule book. There's no playbook of like, hey, this has happened here and this is what we're supposed to do. And we're kind of doing it by the seat of our pants. But it's just like, well, then you got to give them a little leeway too, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And they certainly don't know what they're doing. So it's like, give them a break.
I think this stuff was kind of bound to happen. And I think the rollout, in the beginning, I didn't really, like, when they were like, oh, we're going to close for 2 weeks. There was no fucking way. They knew it was going to be, this shit might be 6 months, a year before that. Oh. So I think they just delayed. I think that's kind of why everything hit the fan. Is because people were like, okay, so we're going to extend it for 2 weeks. And then another month. And then it's just kind of like, bro, the balloon was going to pop. Yes. And then, of course, you know, the stuff with George Floyd happened and just fueled it 1,000 times. You know what I mean? So I think all of this stuff was sort of inevitable. It was just, they were just trying to furlough it as much as they can.
I can't believe some of the idiotic conversations I had when this all first started, in terms of like, I remember telling people, I was like, they were, you know, like you said, 2 weeks shutdown, boom. And then it's like another 2 weeks. Okay, cool. And I remember telling people, I'm like, bro, if we are still locked down and in quarantine, whatever it is, in like July, I was like, I'll kill people. And it's now a year. It's over. And that was gonna be like the 3-month mark. Where I was like, bro, if we don't get a summer, I'm gonna kill everybody. Like, there's no way this is gonna last that long. Yeah. And we're over a year, and like we're just starting to get vaccines out. Nothing is like, so yeah, dude. Nobody knows anything. which I think is what everybody just kind of like, that's the mantra everybody needs to have. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you think adults are like all knowing. You're like, oh, that's an adult. They know everything. And then you become an adult and you're like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'm just taller.
I can't believe I thought adults knew shit like, to that. Like, and then you're an adult. You're like, dude, I don't know anything. So I think it's the same thing. It's like you have to realize that nobody knows anything. It's just tough because the people telling you what to do are also not, you got J.B. Pritzker of Illinois he's got his family going out to Florida all the time while he's telling you can't do shit. And you got Gavin Newsom from California who's telling, one of the most severe lockdowns of anywhere in LA and everywhere else. And he's out doing, having barbecues and shit like that.
Yeah, he got caught going to I think, that was New York. He got caught going to the gym.
Exactly. And you got guys like that. And so it's just, that's where the trouble is. If we're all on the same page of not knowing shit and we're all kind of working together, cool. Let's all work together. I know there's going to be some scrambling going on, but like, when you're telling people you can't do something, but then you get caught doing those things, and it's like, it's kind of like what's happening in the market now of people being mad at the system. And I think it's just like stoking the fire, and it's this perfect scenario. It's the perfect storm of like, these people are fucking fed up of being told what to do by these people who are just, you're setting the rules for other people that you don't have to play by.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's driving people crazy, and that's what's happening in the market, and it's all these other situations
and I think
where it's
because it's coming out more now. Like it's more like it's always happened. You're just not paying attention to it, but now, like, for example, Robinhood is they stopped. You can't do this anymore. Like, bro, you're making it. You're writing it in ink. That it's just like, yeah, this shit, it was made for us. You guys can go ahead and make your little $2,000-$3,000. But it's just like, now it's like, oh, bro, we about to come up. I have friends, like, I don't know, bro. What are your thoughts on that? We're talking a little bit about that earlier. Like, I saw that, you know who Stephen Graham is? Or Grant Stephen?
Yeah.
He made a video.
Instagram, Graham Stephen? Yeah, whichever way.
Yeah. He was talking about that they're getting sued like fucking crazy, bro. But
there's already a class action lawsuit out of Naperville here and New York, I think it is.
Yeah.
Within like 6 hours of that happening, already lawyers were already class action lawsuit ready to go. So,
what are your thoughts on that, bro? On everything that was going on? I know we talked a little bit about it.
I think, I'm business orientated, and I've always, like, it's never, I'm not even from somebody who's gotten handed stuff. Like, I've always had to work for everything. Like, I've been working an actual job since I was 15, factory job, like bullshit ass jobs. Like, working at a flavor company that makes fucking whatever, like, is in Skittles, like Red Dye number 5 and all that kind of stuff. I worked at that company. I worked with a bunch of Spanish dudes in a train yard where we were unloading a train car full of 50 to 75 pound bags of rice from one car to another. And it was me and like 5 Spanish dudes. And you look inside this train car, stacked as high as you can see to the left and to the right. And just in the middle of the summer, dude, just haul. And I'm on top of the pile, bent over where my back feels like it's just I can't even, like, and there's just a Spanish dude 4 to 5 on top of his head. And then he gives it to this guy. And then he go, like, for an entire, like, for 2 years, like, so it's like, I've never been, but like, I do appreciate capitalism to a point in the business side of things. So I think, like, the innovator, if you create something, like, so I know a lot of people, oh, Jeff Bezos is a scumbag and da-da-da-da, and whoever you want to point billionaire-wise, but, like, those guys created something.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him, bro.
Those guys actually took something from nothing and actually created. They create jobs. They create a product. They create these things. I'm okay with that. 100%. I support it. Like, Jeff Bezos started in a garage in Seattle with wanting to sell books on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, and it created this. He employs over 1 million people. Like, but my problem is with, like, the Wall Street people and all that, like, they don't create it. There's no product there. They didn't invent anything. There's nothing that they literally move money from one place to another. They move an invisible piece of paper from one side to another and make people billions of dollars. And like you said, they're the only ones that know the game and know, like, and so they've been doing it forever. And I think if this last election taught us anything, it's that social media and the internet won this last election. Like, like, you got celebrities with 200 million followers tweeting out or Instagramming their support for a certain candidate or whatever. And so like the reach of social media and the internet is so crazy now. Like that Reddit group has over 4 million people in it.
Dude, I didn't know about it until all this. My neighbor was like, dude, I've been on this for fucking years.
Since 2016 or whatever it was. So that's got 4 million people in it. Like the amount of people you can reach with a certain thing. And so I think it's gonna be one of those. It's almost like people discovered the cheat code of being like, oh, like we up until this point, like before the internet and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, dude, those guys were able to just be behind closed doors and do
secretly
whatever the fuck they wanted to do.
I love how you said invisible money here to there. Yeah. It's not real. It's not
never
matterable.
Touched. There's no product. There's no nothing. It's not helping anybody but themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's only for them and that's it. And they're literally moving it from one place to another and keeping the difference or whatever it is to themselves. And it's only helping them buy another yacht and all that kind of stuff. And they're laughing at, to everybody else about us. And, so I think it's, like I said, up until this point, they were able to just be in their boardrooms or whatever the fuck they are, drinking their champagne. And just nobody knew about it. And so I think now with the exposure of social media and the internet, I think it's really putting that magnifying glass. And I think there's people that have parents that lost it all during the 2008 crash and times like that. Where like now they're old enough where like this is their redemption for that. Like there was a Reddit post where a guy was like, I saw my dad literally lose it all during the 2008 crash. We were he was counting pocket change with my little brother at the table because that's all we had after the crash to eat and to pay bills and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, I remember like the Occupy Wall Street during Obama, and he's like, we were down there, and he's like, I literally looked up and I saw dudes in the windows like drinking champagne looking down at us. And he's like, this is for that. He's like, I would rather burn my money or die with these, like, instead of selling my shares right now. Like I want to hurt them as much as I possibly can. Like there's just a vendetta
for sure, which is understandable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people I've been talking to that are really big into this, they use the word dangerous a lot. That it's really, really dangerous. Yeah. And I get it for Wall Street, but I don't. What do you think about that one when I say like that's dangerous? What's your definition?
I think up until this point, the game was always rigged for the 1%, obviously. So it's like Melvin Capital is one of these big investment companies that shorted GameStop heavily, and so they lost 2019. Yeah, and so they lost billions of dollars, and so this other company, 0.71, bailed them out and gave them X amount of billions of dollars once. So it's the game has always been rigged against us. Like a billionaire loses money, another billionaire is just going to come and loan another billionaire money. It's just passing it back and forth. So it is dangerous in a sense of like for regular people who are putting up, like you read through that Reddit group and they're like, I only have $500 and I put it all into let it ride and hold the line. And it's like I love like that mentality. I love the camaraderie and I love all of that, like, because it is like kind of, I love seeing those periods of time where it's like, man, everybody's together. Like that's what was so frustrating about like the George Floyd thing and stuff, because it's like at that point in time, like everybody was on the same page. Everyone was like, that was fucked up. Everybody agreed 100%. For the most part, was like, that was fucked up, that should not have happened and whatever. And that was like, and then after 9/11, it's like everybody was together and was like, fuck what just happened. Like, so this is one of those things where it's like everybody is, you read those groups and they're just like, you've never seen so much, just like everybody's on the same fucking page. But it's like, dangerous because a lot of these people, like Robinhood shut down their trading that first day and everybody was moving platforms, which shows you so many people were using Robinhood, and Robinhood is somewhat of like a beginner app, and so you kind of start realizing like, okay, these are a lot of like beginners who are just like getting in it, and so it's like hopefully people are only playing with money that they can lose, and hopefully it's not like something that's really, again, a billionaire is going to loan another billionaire money. If you lose all the money you have, who's going to give you money to go pay your bills? Like,
I'll call you.
Yeah, exactly. This number is disconnected.
No, dude, it's so crazy to see.
Definitely dangerous, though.
Because I was reading some posts. It was like, they saw like, and I guess now the 99%, there's enough influence to where everybody stands together, and it's like now I guess we can manipulate this type of stuff, you know?
Yeah, and it's in the word manipulation gets thrown around a lot. And but it is in a sense, but like they've been manipulating it, like, and I was thinking about this on at some point when I was like, oh, I'm glad that we're touching on this because it made me think of like, I remember when I first started like betting, and I don't even bet, but like and I remember like Floyd Mayweather would bet so much money on a certain event that he would actually change the odds.
Yeah.
And that would happen all over the place. And how they say the house always wins. And so, like, these Wall Street people are the house. And they have enough money to change the odds in their favor of whatever they want. So it's manipulation. It's always been manipulated in their favor. And so they've been picking. There was a guy on CNBC, and he was an investment group head. And he was like, I'm so glad that this is happening. He's like, you know for how long I've watched these Wall Street people and these 1% people, like, short these companies, and then that company just gets zeroed out and they're gone forever, and these people just collect all their money and they just go on to the next one, and they just bury these companies and over again. And so I think this is the first time maybe ever where like we've been able to catch them with their pants down. And it's the same idea as we were talking earlier. Like, you kind of always, when you're in that mentality of making money all the time, and you've been doing this for fucking, like, those people that are making that much money, their dad did that. That's a fucking bloodline thing. Like, that's all they know, and they get tossed into it. And so it's like, you have that mentality like, oh, it's always going to be like this. We're always going to make billions of dollars. We're always going to be able to do this, and we're always going to be able to. And so I think this is the first time where, like, they got caught with their pants down. We're like, fuck, what is, and so they started scrambling. And so I think this next week's going to show us a lot of what's going on, if they were able to get out of it. But I was telling like my cousin and a few other people, I was like, you think that Robinhood shutting down and all these other trade platforms shutting down or restricting your trades and all that kind of stuff is going to make this go away? Or do you think that these people who are originally furious at the system and furious at these people and wanting, like, eat the rich was trending on Twitter at one point. You think that restricting all that is going to make them go away or piss them off even more? Yeah. So it's just like, I think a lot of these dudes are dinosaurs too, and they have that old school mentality of like, oh, this is what we used to do to get out of these types of situations. So it's just not. It's 2021. Like, it's just a whole new game now, I think, with everything. And so I think it'll be an interesting week coming up. I hope so. I make some money next week.
Too, bro, this shit, dude.
I have to sleep on this couch for the next. If my shit don't pop off.
Bro, I remember because I got AMC at 1850, bro. It was down to like 6, and I'm like, maybe should we sell? Take the loss, take this L. And
I was looking at my Ameritrade portfolio, and it was just.
Oh, that's what you use? I use that too. Yeah, me too.
Red. I almost wish, because like, I bought into the hype train, of course, and so.
With GameStop?
Yeah, but I was glad that I had my Ameritrade account already established because like Robinhood, and then to buy that stupid fucking coin, Dogecoin. I tried opening up a Binance account, which is how because Coinbase does not allow it, but Binance does. But like my Binance account is not set up, so I have to get verified and whatever. But those platforms are they have 1 million people trying to sign up. So I'll probably be verified in a month. Like, who knows how long.
I got you.
And Robinhood as well. Like, I was not on the Robinhood platform, and my shit's still being verified by Robinhood. So I was glad that Ameritrade, I was already active. I already had shit. So that wasn't a big deal. So I think that's a big thing, too, is like a lot of people same way have been trying to sign up for these, and they're waiting. And so I think that's another big push that could potentially be coming as well, is once those accounts finally, if they do. And that's the thing with Robinhood. It's like, how are they purposely not? Yeah. Are they purposely waiting and taking their time to approve people?
Yeah, I saw this thing where they're gonna. I mean, it was like a theory, right? Where it was like, what if they try? There's a term for people like us that we don't do it full time. Like we just kind of, like mess with it. There's a term, I forget what it was, but where they're kind of like, what if that's part of like, they make a regulation to where you have to be a licensed broker to mess and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Why?
Like,
I mean. And that's the whole thing. Robinhood's platform was made
for beginners,
for the regular person to be able to get involved in the market and be able to buy. You can buy fractional share. Like, that's the whole fractional share market that was created in the last couple of years. Of like, oh, you're not a full-time guy. You want to buy into Amazon, but you don't have $3,000. Here, you can buy some fractional shares. Put in $10 a week, and eventually you'll keep to get regular people involved in the market.
Yeah.
And then the second that you get all these people involved in the market, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, and that guy is, you know, on CNBC saying, you know, oh well, we did it because of this, and you know, whatever. And so I definitely think that there's a lot of shady shit going on since the beginning of time, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, fuck them wherever they can, like, you know, wherever you can, in a sense. Like, we're never going to be billionaires. We're never most likely going to be like multi-millionaires. Like, you know, even the money that I have invested in this stupid shit that I did in the last 2 days, like, it's going to be fun money. Like, don't get me wrong, if it pops off the way that I hope it does, but like, I still got to go to work the next day.
Yeah. Dude, I had GameStop at $23, bro. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that post.
Because
I didn't comment on it. I didn't, like, because I was.
Dude,
like,
I was ready to jump off this fucking 14th floor, bro. I had
it's brutal.
I don't know. I had a good amount, and I sold it after I doubled it, and I'm like, cool. But like the next day, it jumped to 50.
Yeah, but like any day trader that I follow, like, you know.
But that's uncommon. Like, obviously this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were able to make money on, like, that's what, like, these dudes, you know, like I said, the big. I follow a couple guys that like they do like 10 grand a day, 50 grand. Like, they make some good money. They make over $2 million a year day trading. They're done by 11 a.m. every day. Like, that's it. And it's just like, never be mad. Like, if you made a profit, like, you can't be mad at that. Like, it's the guys that, like, I lost 50% on everything. Like, I'm stuck holding this stupid shit. Like I said, I'm now a CEO of Nokia for how many shares I got. I got a board meeting on Monday that I got to show. I got to go buy a suit for, because I was, you know, we're gonna go discuss flip phones on Monday, because I think that's all they've done in the last 10 years.
Cameras and shit. I think, right?
Cameras. This is a Canon. See, you guys don't even have a Nokia.
Hell no, get that shit out of here.
So I think it'll be interesting to see. But that's why I think you should fuck them anytime that you can, and that's why I think whatever you can do in this life, business wise, whatever, where you don't have to rely on anybody else but yourself in order to, like. Thank God, you know, and I'm very happy for my life and everything. Like, and it's nothing is from being handed anything either. It's from just, you know, but it's like I have the ability now, and that's why, you know, to be able to do what I want on a daily basis. I still got to go work and, you know, with my real estate agent shit and whatever, but like I have the flexibility of being able to pick different avenues, and I don't have to rely on anybody. Like, and that's what's killed me during this whole pandemic thing. Is like I know people that are collecting unemployment, and I know like they're checking our mailbox every day, and I know like I got hurt at work one time. I fractured a rib and herniated my disc. I was out of work for 10 months. I collected workman's comp, and at one point I didn't get paid for 3 months. Like something got fucked. I don't even know what it was. Something got fucked up. I didn't get paid for 3 months. I was checking that mailbox 6 times a day. I was dying. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? I was paying, like, it was just at a terrible time. I was paying for, like, a bunch of other stuff at the same time. And I was like, oh, this'll never, no fucking way can this ever happen again. Yeah. And so I think as much as you can, you know, not rely on anybody as much as possible, that's got to be the way to do it. And like I said, it's whatever you're good at. Like, I always say, like, pick 3 things that you're truly, truly good at, that you enjoy doing, that, you know, if you had to wake up and do it for free, you would do it, whatever the fact may be, and then like outsource everything else. Like, don't even waste your time on it. Like, to learn those things that you're not good at, that you don't enjoy doing, and whatever, it would take so much time, effort. You'd be miserable. Pick those 3 things that you're truly good at, and those things will make you money. Those things will bring you as much money as you can possibly do, and then just let someone else do those other things. Like, so I think that's what this pandemic has kind of taught, just reassured me, like I said, of like one income and whatever, but like don't rely on anybody else. Like, fuck that stimulus check, fuck all that. I don't give a fuck. Like, I got people that are checking their accounts all the time for that. And again, it's not even saying that like if you're getting a stimulus check, what, like, if you need it, like, fuck. I mean, I know plenty of people that need that shit, and they've been dying and need the money, but it's just like, hopefully people can learn from this and kick in the face type deal, and turn around and be like, okay, what do I need to do? So God forbid, because if 2020 has taught us anything is fucking possible. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. We were living pretty comfortably from 2008 till now. Market really, you know, after 2008, it took till about 2010, 2011. And then we were kind of riding high since then. And so it's just like, you know, it is cycle. So like, get yourself situated, and like I said, investment properties, whatever you want. But it's like, multiple sources has to be the way.
Absolutely. You heard it here first with Mr. Windy City Agent. Anything else, bro? Tell them where to find you. WindyCityAgent.com.
TheWindyCityAgent.com. Just built a brand new website, so it'll be
beautiful?
good for the use. Yeah, it is beautiful.
Yeah?
It is beautiful. Yeah.
Happy for you, bro.
I'm happy for it for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.